earth between us and the sun, which is located inside the firmament. These planets, Mercury and Venus, should be inside of the firmament where we should be able to see them. We've never seen them. They should be inside the firmament.
So if you're looking at the firmament as the outside space, which I'm not going to confirm or deny on that, but if you're looking at it as the outside space, where the stars and that does not mean that he didn't separate the waters from the waters, the firmament from on the inside of the earth, or what's inside the earth. Because it's not outside of the fact that it mentions the stars, the moon, the sun, and all that. It does not get into detail about those things, further galaxies, and all that other stuff. It just, the only thing that it really gets in detail is what's inside, or what has been compressed inside of the earth.
Correct. I agree. I agree with that. And so therefore, if it doesn't show up in Genesis, and if it shows up later, that means that it's got to be man-made.
Nah, not necessarily, because even though it talks about the earth in Genesis, in further parts of the Bible, it refers to God as the creator and the sustainer of the universe. So that means there's something bigger out there. It's just that here we are limited to here.
Or here's something else you might want to consider. Or whoever wrote that there's another universe out there, maybe they're not telling you the truth.
Not another universe, but God is the creator and the sustainer of the universe, which is.
Yeah, but you don't read that in the first 5 books. You have to go outside of the Torah or the book of the law in order to find that information. God never said that.
But if, as the Bible says, the word is written by man, inspired by God, God didn't. I mean, you got to take all this into account, because God didn't physically write the Torah.
Yeah, but there are indicators there and inside the book. And when you say Bible, you guys think that this is one whole book, and it's not.
Or you can take the Torah, the Torah, the Tanakh, the Psalms, the Gospel, the letters, the epistles, the Revelation, any part of the Bible. None of that was directly written by God.
Oh, I understand that very much so. And you're saying that it's inspired by God. I got that. But what I'm saying is
the only thing that they actually mentioned was actually, I guess, physically written by. I guess you could say it was physically written by God to an extent. Is the 10 Commandments?
Okay, cool. But yet and still, what I don't have is I don't see where inside of Genesis, where a lot of stuff that we have today that's written down, and they say that it's there, but it's just not physically there. You can't show me a planet called Venus or Jupiter or Mercury. They don't exist.
This is what I believe. Even cosmology, one of the most controversial out of all of the sciences, because it starts to try to get into metaphysics and exclude God. So it's the most. That's why I feel it's one of the most controversial. But still, all science is to understand the natural order of things, but it is not to understand the supernatural, like God and stuff like that. It's only explaining the natural. So it's not something to, I don't feel that science is meant to denote God in any way. So like the fact that the planets are out there and the stars are out there, or whatever the case may be. I don't feel like cosmology in its original form was ever meant to disacknowledge God, because that's not what what it's doing. Like, when people try to say that it's disacknowledging God, so they have to find something to dispute it, you're putting something that is meant to prove God's greatness, which is science is meant. I feel it was originally meant to prove how great God is, rather than to be a enemy to the word of God. You feel me?
Yes, but I know what the intent is, but science is filled with man's imagination. The stuff that we see, a lot of stuff that we see today is made by man. Cars, trucks, houses. You got to dig inside of the ground. You have to pull the material out of the ground. You have to shape it, bend it, or you have to cut it down. You have to cut trees down in order to do things. Man's imagination is doing what we see today.
All right, but also
what God has put into what God put into play, where His imagination is still here. The sun is still here. The moon is still here. The stars, hold on. The stars are still here. The grass, the grass is still here. The humans are still here. The animals are still here. This is what you see. These are basics. God didn't make science. Science is brought about by man's imagination so that man can get you to follow him. Man wants you to praise him. He don't want you to praise God. Man wants to replace God. And this is why we have doctors and all this type of people, so that these people can experiment on you and cut on you and make you a Frankenstein, instead of us just keeping the natural order of God, which would be to eat green stuff. And we won't need surgeons. They have taken this away from you and they have replaced it with what they want to give you. You can buy seedless grapes now, seedless watermelons now, all this type of stuff. That's man's imagination. That's not God. That goes against everything that God loves. By going inside of a seed and removing the male or female parts of that seed, so it won't be able to produce more seeds. That's mankind. That's not God. That's not biblical. That's not God.
It's totally understandable what you're saying, but at the same time, that's not what I'm saying. I understand that that's unnatural. On the other hand, God has put these things in here and on this earth, so everything that has come about from it is something that is from God. So a car, the metal that God had put, the things, the oil, everything that makes a car what a car is, comes from the things that God has put here. So it is a product of God. I mean, it's a product of God made through man's imagination. If you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely. I absolutely, and that makes perfectly good sense. And so again, and now that you are able to admit that the cars are made by God and that man made those first, the same thing about the planets. But see, people think that when you look up and you see the stars, that those are the planets. No, they're talking about a whole new system. You know what I'm saying? And then they give us school. They teach you things at a place that they call school.
School is
then they program your brain. Watch this.
Yeah, most definitely. School is a program. That's to get you to be in line.
That's how they get you started. That's how they get you started. That's how they get your brain going. So they can prepare you for a lot more of that program they got for you, like
work, stuff like that, and get you into you go in for 8 hours, you come home. That it gets you into that work pattern, so that like you basically follow. I want to say like a governmental pattern. That's right. So,
okay, now that you say that, now you know where the 40-hour work week comes from.
Yeah, most definitely. My father was a civil rights activist, and so like I already knew about that.
Okay, now check this out. Check this out. Now they're telling you there's a work week. But when I go and I read what we call the Torah or the first 5 books, the Most High never mentions the word work week. He told Moses that we are to tell time by the months.
Right. That's why.
So when they tell you, watch this. When they tell you to work 6 days out of the week and rest on the 7th day, they want you to go back to work for another 6 more days and rest on the 7th day. Look how they use God's word against us. God told us to work 6 days out of the month. And on the 7th day of that month, you rest. That's what he told us.
Well, also you got to take into account that in the East, where the Bible, the Torah, the everything was created. Well, not everything. Well, yeah, because actually, yeah, because
basically, yes.
Yeah. So they used a different calendar than what we use over here. We use the Gregorian calendar. They use what's called the solar lunar calendar.
But now check this out. We never had a calendar. The Israelites never had a calendar. We never had a 30-day calendar, 40-day calendar, a year calendar. We never had none of that. The only thing we ever had was the moon. The only thing that we would tell signs by is by the moon and the stars. This is what he teaches us in Genesis. So the moon has a 30-day cycle. It's going to do the same thing every 30 days.
Right.
It's going to start off as a slither. It's going to go to a quarter.
That's why in Islam.
Okay, cool. I mean, if that's how y'all want to consider it, it's going to do the same thing every 30 days. It's going to wax on one side, it's going to wane on the other side, and it's going to start all over.
Right. So that's why
I consider it every 30 days. They say 28.5. I heard people say 29. For me, it's 30 days. And at the end of those 30 days, it's going to start all over. Remember, on day 1 through day 4, the Most High creates the moon on day 4 in its fullness, and 3 days later he rested. That was the Sabbath. And what we do is I look for that full moon. I look for the waxing and waning. I look for the full moon, and 3 days after that, I'm to have a Sabbath. That's the only reason I would need a calendar. Other than that, I don't need a calendar because we never had holidays. We had our holy days based on other things.
On YouTube right now.
On the month.
Real quick, everybody make sure you double tap the screen, and we are streaming live on YouTube right now, so you can catch the playback anytime you want. Titans Debate League on YouTube. Back to you, gentlemen.
So if you excuse me, but even if you look at Islam, I know Islam came after Christianity or whatever the case may be, but if you look at Islam and how they do things, depending on the moon cycle, like when we do Ramadan, and then Al Fajr that comes after most of the time it comes the day after Ramadan, but depending on how the moon cycles that day or night, whatever, then that may change. You feel me? Because it's going. That's how the solar is, like you said, is based off of the moon phases and stuff like that.
Yeah, I really don't subscribe to Islam because of what I found out about actually how it came about. You know what I'm saying? In my studies, I have found out that there is a book called the Book of Daniel inside of what you call the Tanakh. And inside of there, inside that book, there are 2 angels that are named. Now, when I go through the Torah, God don't name no angels. But then all of a sudden, when I get to the book of Daniel, he names 2 angels. Now, I don't know where he got this power from, but I had never heard of an angel named Michael or Gabriel until I got to this book. Now, what I found out was that this angel that's made inside of the Tanakh named Gabriel, his name has been changed to Jibril, and he carries the word from the mouth of Allah to the ears of Muhammad.
Right.
So when I read this, when I understand this and I study this type of stuff, it lets me know that these books, there's something real crazy about these books that make them really religious books as opposed to being books of God. because there's no way that an angel can leave the Most High God and go and work for a whole other God. That means that he's not under the law, and angels don't do that. You just don't run off because that's God's army. You don't run off from God's army and then go and serve another God named Allah.
New awakening creation.
And real quick, I do want to pass it around. We have
Hold
some
on.
new additions to the panel who I've never seen before. New awakening creations. Go ahead, though. You can land your plane, Gerald. I didn't want to cut you off.
I want.
Okay, well, are you good? I'll stop right there. I'll yield the floor over so that other people can speak on your panel.
New awakening. I want to let Debate 101 respond to Gerald.
Hey, how's it going? Could I answer the prompt?
I want to let Debate 101 respond to Gerald. And it's on you next.
If you hold on, who's
I want to let Debate 101 respond to Gerald, and then it's on you next, New Awakening.
Okay. So, what I'm saying is that Allah is, if you realize that Arabic is the what is it, the sister or the daughter language of Aramaic, which is the language that Jesus spoke. Jesus didn't call him God. He called him Elohim. Allah, what is it? Elohim? Allah. Well, you know, it was different. So the thing you're worried about is more about language and translation of how you say God's name. Because actually, Jesus' name is not Jesus. You feel what I'm saying? It's not like Allah is how you say it in Arabic. So since this is a later time and we know that we say Allah, but I don't know. I wouldn't know how to say it in English for real. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't say it in English. I say I say the word I know, Allah, and I mean I say God but you know that God can mean different things depending on how you use it. Like, so I try to use Allah or you know to let people know that I'm talking about the Most High. The Father of creation.
You can respond to anything you've heard. Or
You feel
Go
me?
ahead, New Awakening. It is on you. You can respond to anything you've heard, or you can tackle the prompt.
Okay. No, so I think that the prompt is very interesting. One thing that I've noticed is that, knowledge is evil, and I'm trying to be very cautious and not try to get the Bible involved or anything like that, because I don't believe in the Bible. I've read the Bible. I believe that there's a lot of wisdom in it. However, in Genesis, it talks about how they were living a perfect life. They didn't need for anything. And then the serpent came in and deceived Eve from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And that's when exactly the fallen state happened. And you can see that today. You can raise a daughter and a son to have morals and integrity and stuff like that. And then they get indoctrinated by this knowledge in college and they come out completely atheist, don't believe in God, blah, blah, blah. And so rather than knowledge, I think that God wants us to have wisdom, discernment, understanding, rather than knowledge, because that's going to get you in a rabbit hole. And I land my plane.
Anybody can jump in and respond to New Awakening.
I just want to ask a question. Like, in your knowledge, do you have rules? Are there any commandments that you must follow to keep you safe? Because God gave us commandments, and if we follow those commandments, they're designed to keep us safe, as opposed to just trying to run the world off of knowledge.
Yeah, I think that that's why that guy named Jesus came down. We don't have to live by those commandments. All we have to do is forgive so that our Father can forgive us. And obviously it's already internal. It's innate in us, right? Not to do bad to others, right? Treat your others as you would want to be treated. And so all that knowledge that you're talking about, I have discernment, I have wisdom, I don't have knowledge. Knowledge is man-made. You know, wisdom comes from a creator.
So you're telling me you're telling me that
Wisdom comes from knowledge, and that's in the book.
how do you tell me that some guy named Christ came down when you tell me that you don't believe in the Bible?
Yeah, I believe in God. I don't believe in the Bible. I believe in God. He says it in the Bible. He says that once he ascends, the Holy Spirit is going to descend. He's going to be our teacher. He's going to be the one that's going to lead us.
Okay,
I got that. Yeah, the Bible is good to read. I love it. So much knowledge in there, bro. Or excuse me, wisdom in there.
Have you read the book of Deuteronomy?
Yes.
Have you read the book of Exodus?
Yeah, I've read the Bible a couple times.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Do you have your book in front of you?
I don't, unfortunately.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna read something right here. This is the book of Exodus, the second book of creation, chapter 4, verse 22. It says, "And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. Who is the Son of God?"
You're asking me, according to that verse that you just said, Israel.
Okay, so if Israel is called the Son of God in Exodus, he is going to be the Son of God throughout the whole book. If Israel is still alive today on the earth, that means that Israel is still the Son of God. This is why I'm asking you, who is this Jesus character that you're saying is going to come down from somewhere who's supposed to be the Son of God? When Israel is clearly called the Son of God before we even have a Christ.
Got you. And I've never gone into that type of study. Just from my readings, when I talk about Jesus Christ, he's already come. It's already been done, right? Like the whole mission. And so you're telling me about a land that he calls his son, which is a metaphor, right? If we really think about exactly what that Deuteronomy verse said, it's talking about a nation, right? And then you know what that nation of Israel is? God's children. That's me and you, right? That believe in the Christian God.
So that means that God has a son already, right?
We're all his sons and daughters.
But God has a son already, right? Is the answer yes or no?
God has a son already?
Okay, cool. If God has a son already, why do he need Christ? We don't need another son of God. Israel is the son of God. We don't need another son.
Wait, and so are you telling me that you don't believe in Jesus Christ? He's a fictional character?
You cannot listen to this. If you tell me that you read it, here's what you need to know is that this book is chopped up into 3 books. You have the first 5 books, which is called the book of Moses.
The Torah.
That's right. Now, when you study the Torah separately, we don't have any New Testament attached to the Torah. The New Testament is attached to another book.
Hey, Gerald, I'm sorry. I'm just for conversational purposes before you try to teach me something. What is your what are you are you Christian, Israelite, Hebrewite? What are you?
I'm a man of God.
Got you. And so you don't pertain to any religious occult?
No, I don't. I study religions, but I'm not a religious person.
Got you.
What I found out is that God has chosen a specific group of people, and he doesn't change. Y'all keep telling me that God don't change. When I read inside of the Torah about these people that he loves, he's telling you to your face that he loves them.
Yeah.
And y'all seem to bypass that. Y'all tell me God don't change and that he loves these people. And he tells you inside that book that he's going to punish them for serving other gods. He's going to put them in captivity, and then he's going to return and take them out of captivity.
Who are the people that he loves?
Now you're interjecting with some guy named Christ.
Okay, gotcha.
Real quick, everybody, make sure you double tap that screen and go subscribe. We are on YouTube streaming live right now at Titans Debate League on YouTube. Back to you, gentlemen.
Yeah, and I don't know if so Gerald, I don't know if you are assuming that I believe that Jesus is God and that You know what I mean? Like that's, you have to accept him in his heart before you go into heaven. All that stuff that they teach you in these, churches. I believe that Jesus is our big brother. I believe that he showed us the way, right? He told us, hey, you could be reborn again. I know that there's a lot of evil on this earth, but look, if you forgive our creator, my father is going to forgive you. And so that's where I take from Jesus. Like, I think that he was pointing us back to the Father. That's all.
Well, in Islam, they call Jesus a, a spirit from God and a word from him. Like he's different. Like everybody knows Jesus is different. He was born different.
Yeah.
But also, like we don't believe that he is the son of God, because that's where a lot of people. He was a human just like everybody else. Because God, we believe that God wasn't begotten, nor was he beget.
Gotcha.
But the way I look at things, a lot of Islamic scholars would probably get on me about this. But the way I look at it is, God is not the father of Jesus in the sense that some people are taking it as he is God. He is just as much God as God is, and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And I would take it as more like God is the father of creation. So everything has come from him, not really as much as God is Jesus' literal father. You feel me?
Yeah.
And a lot of Islamic scholars will probably get on me for saying that. But I believe what I believe.
Yeah, I think we're all on our own journeys, right? We have some beliefs, right? We have some understanding. We have anecdotal experiences with the Creator. We could all agree that there is a higher power, right? Which is the one and true God. But then that's where the Bible or the Quran or every other book, right, talking about knowledge and how it's evil, it's confusing the children of God, right? Because it's already in us, right? There's people in the Amazon that know better, right, than to steal or to unalive someone or to betray loyalty, you know what I mean? All that stuff. And they never read the Bible. They've never read the Quran, but they just know. They just know. And that's our Creator living through us.
Backyard, you can hop. Backyard, you can hop in whenever there's a gap. Go ahead and jump in. You don't gotta wait on.
Genesis
Backyard,
14,
you can hop in whenever there's a gap. Go ahead and jump in. You don't gotta wait on me.
Now,
Go ahead, John.
in the book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 13, it says, and there was one that escaped and told Abram the Hebrew. Abraham is called a Hebrew. And in Hebraic tradition, if our father is a Hebrew, that means that that's what I'm going to be, right? If you believe in Allah, right?
Uh-huh.
And so, who is Abraham's first child?
Ishmael.
Is he a Hebrew?
Why wouldn't he be?
How do we get Ishmael to be the patriarch of Islam if he's a Hebrew?
He's the patriarch of Islam. You have to understand the difference. A Hebrew Israelite versus the lineage of the 12 princes. All right, so you got the 12 tribes that came from the lineage of Isaac. And you have the 12 princes that came from the lineage of Ishmael. These are two promises.
Okay. Are they Hebrews? Are they Hebrews?
Both of them are. Yes, I believe. In my belief, both of them are. Yes.
Okay, cool. So we cannot get Islam from being a Hebrew. All the males that come from Ishmael are Hebrews. There's no such thing as Islam, bro. That's made up.
Time out. Do you know what Islam means?
I don't need to know what it means if it comes from Ishmael.
Because you're saying there's no such thing as Islam, but you don't even know what it means.
Listen, I don't need to know because Ishmael is a Hebrew.
Islam means
if Ishmael is a Hebrew, all the men that come from the loins of Ishmael are Hebrews.
Okay.
They cannot be anything but Hebrews. How do you get Islam from a Hebraic man?
Islam means submission to the will of Allah. That's all it means.
How do you get Allah, all this other stuff coming from the bloodline of Ishmael? How do you get Muhammad? What nationality is Muhammad?
Well, it doesn't really matter what nationality Muhammad is.
It does matter.
Because the ancestry. Sorry about that, but the ancestry of these people extends outside of the Levant, right?
Come outside of where?
Yes.
Out of the Levant. So do you
where?
One mic, gentlemen. Let's let backyard. Hold on.
Show me where Ishmael is outside of the Levant.
Before you respond, Gerald, let's let backyard get it all out, and then you guys can respond. Just so that way you know exactly what you're responding to.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, Gerald. Do you believe like the stories about the historian Josephus when he talks about Jesus and all those guys? Do you accept him?
No.
You don't accept Josephus at all?
No.
Okay, well, back in the day, right, Jewish historians wrote extensively about how a child of Abraham met, interacted with, and possibly had a child with Hercules. This extends the Hebrew canon out of the Levant and into the Mediterranean. So if we're going to grant you any of this stuff is true, there is no logical reason to say that Ishmael couldn't have had descendants deep into any of the territory in the Levant, in North Africa, or into Europe, right? Because we have Jewish historians literally writing about Abraham having family ties with, again, a mythological figure in Greece, aka Hercules. So again, if we're going to take all of the canon from everything that we've heard from both the Hebrews of their own history, if they have people extending up into Greece, why couldn't they have people in the Middle East?
The first thing is the Hebrews have nothing to do with Greece. That's the first thing. Greece is for Greeks. We don't have.
Why did they write? Then why did one of their historians write about?
Let me finish. I didn't cut you off. So we don't have mythological creatures inside of the Hebrew world. Like you said, Greece. Now what you're getting into when you start talking about Greece, now you're getting into a whole different type of people. You're getting into unmelanated people. Now you open up a whole nother can of worms that you would never be able to close or you would never be able to explain to me. So I don't want to go to Greece yet. I want to stay right where we are and talk about where Ishmael is. And Ishmael is a Hebrew. And I want to know, how do you take a Hebrew male and make a whole different religion with a Hebrew male?
Okay. So this is all right. If you're going to use that argument, and I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that that's a legitimate argument, then that means I can ask so my next question is, where does an Israelite come from?
They come down the bloodline of Isaac.
Hold on. You just said
they're Hebrew.
They are Hebrew. So that means they're not Israelites. They're Hebrew.
That's why they call them Hebrew Israelites.
Okay. Just because they don't add the word Hebrew to the name, because they probably and I have a legitimate reason why they wouldn't add Hebrew to the name, because of something that that the messenger sent down when he had blessed Ishmael, and according to your book, that a reason why they would separate themselves from them. It says that he will be blessed with many nations, just like Isaac was blessed with, or will be blessed with many nations. But it also says that he will be a wild man, and his hand will be against nation. Every nation will be against him. This is what was written.
I mean, yeah, we know what was written, and we're just saying, yeah, that's true. That's what's written, but that's not my question. My question is, how do you take a Hebrew?
If you're asking
how you take a Hebrew and make a whole
Hebrew, and I'm not, don't get that mixed up with what is going on in the world, the corruption thing where they talk about identification in nowadays. But why they didn't identify as Hebrews, they may have simply identified as Canaanites. They may have simply identified as Semites. Whatever the case is, they were from that Levant.
Yeah. See?
You understand?
Go around the car. Fun, bro. Yeah. Oh shoot! Yeah.
So you don't understand? You do understand? Help me out here.
I mean, I'm listening, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm letting you, know what I'm saying, get your words off and everything. I didn't want to interrupt or anything like that.
No, I'm just.
I understand where you're coming from.
So yeah, I don't see why he would knowing that they had knowing that they had two separate ways that they had to go. They had to be. I feel like there had to be some kind of distinction in who they were, and it had to be done. It was all part of, like I mentioned earlier when I was talking about the whether or not
Real quick, I want to
knowledge is good or evil. It was all part of the divine decree.
Time with the seven sisters.
Real quick, I want to pass it around
something
for a second. We have divine time with the seven sisters to the panel. How are you feeling today, sis?
Glad you made it. You made it.
Great. I don't know how I got on here, but I'm here.
I'm glad you made it. You made it. Did you want to tackle the prompt? Is the serpent in the Bible good or evil? And is knowledge a gift or a curse?
I honestly feel like the serpent was both, as well as source. Source plays all roles. So, it depends on the individuals that gain the knowledge and the wisdom. My sister has something she wants.
For me, how I've come to know the serpent in the Bible is as Lucifer, and which was an angel. I didn't look at Lucifer as a negative, and I think Lucifer was trying to get people out of the trap of illusion, and offered Eve the apple from the tree of knowledge. Is key words. Why the fuck would a God that is righteous want you to be dumb? So I believe that Eve was trying to help Adam after she discovered she was naked, meaning after she came into her consciousness.
Okay. Can I say something about that?
You can't respond.
The tree is not just simply called the tree of knowledge. It's called the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You cannot, and I believe that part is totally specific, because God would never punish you for something you have no knowledge of. You feel me? So once you have the knowledge of good and evil, when you do evil, you will be punished for being evil. It is just that simple. I'm not saying that having knowledge means that you will necessarily do evil, but the knowledge of evil, when you do evil, you will be punished for it. if you do not have the knowledge of, God would never be. God is not. I believe, me personally, I feel like we can never understand the level of love that God has for us or for other people. The fact that we know that you get punished for doing evil and people go to hell, and it would like it mentally tells you we don't want anybody to go to hell. I don't want to go to hell, so why would I want anybody else to go to hell?
Can I cut in? Because
Can I
we were actually talking. Go ahead.
Oh, what was you? But I was saying, like, we would never understand it. So I feel like if we can have the littlest bit of empathy for a person that has to go to hell, do you think it doesn't hurt God for every single soul that ends up in hell?
They said. Or did I just?
I'm just still a little confused. I don't know how any of this is a response to what they said. Or did I just miss something?
No.
Ladies, do you feel like he's responding, or do you feel like he got triggered and is trying to preach to you right now?
No.
Go ahead, ladies.
I do, but can I tap into what he's saying? Can I tap into what he's saying though?
Let me let him make sure he landed his plane. So let me make sure he has it all out. Go ahead, debate 101.
All right, so
you have it all out.
What you said was that why would God want people to be dumb, and that the serpent was Lucifer, whatever the case may be, and he was trying to get him out of illusion. I said that God would not be. I said that the tree was not just called the tree of knowledge. It was called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And I believe that there is a purpose why that is specified, and God would not punish you for something you have no knowledge of. And once she ate from the tree, she had knowledge of good and evil. Therefore, when you do something evil, now that you have the knowledge of it, you will be punished for it. It's just that simple. And if you can understand that the level of the punishment, that probably triggered me, because I was thinking of something last night, and I was having a conversation last night. That went a little bit far.
Okay, can I come back in, please?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, ladies. It's on you.
I think right here we're at a little bit of a standstill, because I feel like you want me to know or believe something that you know or believe, right? So she was mentioning a righteous God, not wanting us to be stuck in a matrix. Whether in the tree of knowledge is tree of knowledge, good and evil, good and bad, all things all over the place, right? So you still have to account for everything else. And a lot of people do evil with
what happened? I mean, well, since you having your little technical difficulties, whatever the case may be, I'm just saying, like, for example, the Bible says that God looks out.
I don't even want to really too much get into that conversation, because for us it is a knowing, and I personally am not going to belittle my knowing when it comes to source and anything of that sort. But like she said, as far as it goes, I think the problem is that people think that the God that they serve is not capable of evil, and is God do everything. The baby who died, all that is God's doing. The God you praising and everything of that sort, So I don't think that is the main focus of the moment. But as far as the serpent goes, yeah, that's where we stand. I believe you had something else.
No, that was
Okay, so you're saying, all right, and I understand that evil does not exist without God. That I would actually have to agree with that because
Can evil exist without man?
I mean,
Without man, do we have evil? Because when I see God in play, we don't have evil.
I feel what you're saying too, but God made man. So
Exactly. And so he gave and so he gave man choices too, right?
Right. God gave free will.
So wait a minute. So when something happens to a child, and there are some adults there, and the adults do this to the child, are the adults making decisions, or is that God making a decision?
That is definitely the adults making the decision.
Exactly. And thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your honesty, because what we have here is we have a situation on earth now where men are making decisions to do things, and we want to blame God for the things that man is doing.
Okay.
Now here's the problem. Here's another problem. Is that there's a God that's on the earth that's willing to forgive you for sin. That's another major. I'm going on mute. Land my plane right there.
Really quick, I want to go to Trey Union. I want to give him a chance to answer the prompt before we get back to where we are now. Go ahead, Trey Union. Where do you stand?
I appreciate that, brother. Can I be heard clearly?
Yes, you are clear.
All right. I appreciate you letting me speak to it. It's real simple. When the Most High spoke to the woman, she said, the serpent beguiled me. It's that simple. The serpent beguiled. That is Hegelian teaching. That means that she acknowledged that she was deceived. And then immediately after that, the Most High turned to the serpent, and the serpent was punished. He didn't tell Eve she was lying. He acknowledged that she was beguiled. So what the serpent did was evil. And if we backtrack from there, the information that the woman got from the tree, that was the significant portion of the information, was the knowledge of evil. Why? Because she already had knowledge of the Most High, which is good. He had already finished his creations, which he called good. So they had knowledge of good through observation and experience. What they didn't have through observation and experience yet was the knowledge of evil. And it was upon attaining the knowledge of evil that they were then ashamed. They went and hid. We see all these negative things present themselves after gaining that knowledge. So the serpent definitely done something wrong. And it wasn't just pure knowledge that they received. It was the knowledge of evil that created the fall.
Let me remind everybody that
I appreciate your answer. And before anybody gets to respond, let me remind everybody that we are streaming live on YouTube right now. So go ahead and subscribe if you want to watch any of this back later at Titans Debate League on YouTube. Back to you, gentlemen.
I want to say, you said that God asked Eve blamed the serpent, and the serpent didn't say nothing. But God cursed the serpent so quick the serpent couldn't. That's why he says, because he was about to say she lied.
Double tap that.
Now listen.
Go ahead.
Double tap that screen for that one. That was a good one.
Nah, it's real.
Double tap that screen. Go ahead.
He's hilarious, yo.
That was the beginning teaching that he just gave.
Shout out Quantum.
Listen,
that was the beginning teaching.
I'm telling y'all something. The whole idea, the problem that we having with this anyway, I'll talk about the prompt first. Was the serpent in the Bible evil or good? That's going to be a subjective question. So people going to answer that how they feel like they need to answer it. The good question to me is knowledge a gift or a curse? In my philosophy, knowledge is the gift that will give and always give. The curse comes when humans come with intention. And that's what we was talking about. That's what G. Will was talking about. It's the intention of man. When you see evil, you only gonna see evil in the intentions of man and nowhere else. That being said, the whole idea of the creator God is incoherent to me. So that just leaves out that good or evil thing for me in the first place.
Okay, I got a question before anybody jumps on you. It is kind of left. It's not like on the prompt. Do you think you could see evil like in an animal, like an evil animal, or would you just attribute what they do to their nature?
Yeah. No, you won't never see evil in the intentions of animals.
They only
they don't have the intentions.
Exactly. You're only gonna see evil in intentions of man. That's the only
They
place
don't have
that evil
intentions. They
shows
only
up.
have instincts.
Yeah.
Not even just that. They don't have the knowledge. Even if they did something that was outside of the norm, hypothetically, it would not be out of intention because they have no intentions. They don't have the knowledge of good and evil.
Correct.
Go ahead. It's on you, gentlemen. It's an open panel.
The intent is to survive.
Can we
Shout
point
out
out
No
something
Love
real
Drew
quick?
in the comments. Go ahead.
Can we point out something
It's an
real
open
quick?
panel. Yeah, it's an open panel.
Okay, I want to point out something that is reflective of what we're talking about. That gentleman came up and said that God cut the serpent off before he had a chance to answer, and he said, and that moved you. That's the Begalian teaching. That's how the serpent moved Eve. He told her something that tickled her ears and made her think, and she responded. But what does the scriptures say? The scriptures don't tell us that God cut off the serpent. It tells us that he punished the serpent for what he did. That's it. When we move outside of that to give our own understanding or how we want to philosophize it or make it seem however we believe it is, that is a beguiling. You are continuing to beguile. The scripture speaks for themselves. They don't need us to come behind them and do what this gentleman just did, even if it's going to move people like it moved the host. Let's deal with what's real.
Yeah, let's deal with what's real then. If we're going to deal with what's real, then let's deal with the unstable incoherence of the first part of the argument anyway, when you're trying to put intentions on somebody other than God. Now, this is the incoherence. I wasn't trying to move nobody. I was just putting something out there because the whole story is incoherent. And to insult your intelligence and to believe it, that's on a whole nother level besides my mental. But let's talk about, does evil exist without God? Then somebody said it does. Somebody said it doesn't. Then the next one was there's no evil, just what man does. I said that. Like I said, the arguments is just going to always be unstable. You're going to have people feeling like they in touch with God so they can tell you that whatever you say is a big gilding and that you evil, that you have thoughts of making everybody want to go to hell when you actually have a more logical approach to existence because you want to take accountability in existence. When you get rid of the devil and that idea that intentions are anywhere else other than God, other than existence, and you say that God intended for you to do this and God intended for somebody else to do that, and then we sit here and we talk about it, we'll never come to a stable answer because everybody's incoherence is what they see in the first place. And the scriptures that you're trying to say are what we should listen to prove that that's authority is another incoherence to it, because we know this is man and it's been compiled. And then, of course, everybody's going to take their own outlook on it because, in the first place, your Bible says that man will change it. You better know when they change it. You don't know who changed it, what to believe. So it's just incoherence in the first place. Besides that, y'all don't listen to nobody when they tell y'all somebody trying to make you be evil just because they believe they was born evil. They believe all of that supernatural things when they can be logical about what existence is. I won't have it. I believe we're all too intelligent for that idea. That being said, I'm not saying there ain't a God. There is supremacies in existence. Those supremacies are our actual functional God and goddess, which is time and nature. The thing that your God that y'all keep on talking about can't do without. It can't create without time. It got to have a nature. So the incoherence is really unsattable to me. Why you trying to talk about somebody doing things that a devil would do? The devil don't exist. We make choices and we take those. You better be accountable in existence and stop trying to make people think that they don't have any control over their life and their choices, because we know they do. I'm gonna stop because I'm getting hot.
But I'm not trying to upset you. What I pointed out, just so we could be clear, I didn't falsely accuse you of anything. Okay, you can get upset. That's not going to change nothing. We're still going to deal with the text. Only thing I was pointing out is we have text. We're not making up the story as we go. We can look at the text, and the text did not say what you said. Now, you can get upset about me pointing that out, but all I was trying to do was make a correlation because it exists if we look. It's a very coherent correlation. Is when an individual will take part of a story and then inject their own philosophy or their own viewpoint in order to sway the person that they're speaking to. That's what the serpent did to Eve. And she said, he beguiled me. That's what you did when you said that God interrupted the serpent before he had a chance to respond. So he said, sounded good. Hold on. Let me finish, brother. Let me finish. Brother, I don't know why you I didn't interrupt when you were speaking. So all I'm saying is, pimping is pimping, and scripture is scripture. We can look at scripture and follow the text.
I like that word.
That's all I'm telling you. We can look at scripture and follow the text.
Well, that scripture ain't no viable today's world. Us knowing how information is passed, us knowing that scripture was used so somebody can have power over somebody else. And for you to be as intelligent as you are and still insult your own intelligence, when you're talking about somebody's philosophy and taking their own accord of what they see, that's exactly what we're supposed to do. You, on the other hand, take what somebody.
How does this scripture give me power over you? Explain that to me. Because scripture that I read, the black man. Because hold on, the scripture that I read, the black man win. What scripture are you reading?
No, that's Trey talking. Oh no, that's Jared. I'm sorry.
He's talking to you, Trey. I think.
I mean, whoever.
No, that's
whoever
Trey
said
talking.
That,
no, that's Gerald. I'm sorry. I thought that was Trey talking.
Oh, that's
whoever said something because the black man win with these scripture. I don't know what scripture you reading, but according to the scripture I've been reading, my people win inside the scripture. So I don't know what scriptures you've been reading. Can you tell us what scriptures you've been reading where the black man loses? Because when I read the Torah, the black man's win.
Yes.
I don't believe he's talking to me because when I really, we win as well. Humanity wins. I'm not sure who said there's a loss there.
Yeah, I never said nothing about that either. That's why I was wondering who he was talking to. What I was saying is that we too coherent to even have to worry about whose choices and who making what choices. If we're really trying to get through existence by persisting with comfortability, we don't need none of that supernatural stuff anymore. It might have been good back in the day, but we see the atrocities that it's caused. We see the atrocities that it's still causing today. We see people trying to be Hebrew Israelites, and they'll never step foot back in Israel. The people that's over there, that's in Israel, will never let anybody that's over here talking about they Hebrew Israelites go back. We have a chance to look at a doctrine and find our own identity within the doctrine. It gives you plenty stories. We can choose to be people. We can choose to be people of Job. We can choose to be all that. Y'all want to choose to be a people who got cursed and then come over here and say that you cursed. Then you have no way to do anything because you cursed. You got to wait for God to come back to do something. You don't believe them people over there that believe what they say about God, that Jesus came back. You believe that when you die, you're going to have, you believe that when you die, you're going to have
the first five Israelites don't believe that.
You believe that
we don't believe that we under a curse.
You believe that you're gonna have your feet on the back.
We don't believe we under a curse. Where you getting that from?
The incoherence of the total incoherence
of
the Abrahamic religions.
Where are you getting that from?
All of you guys are incoherent.
Who
because
told you? Ain't nobody
the same
told you
God that you believe
no,
on.
We don't. No,
and
we
the
don't.
people that you do. Yeah, you do. You try to make a difference because y'all want war. Because y'all don't want to take accountability.
No, we don't.
But y'all worship the same exact thing. You want to debate it, G. Will?
Let me jump in here, gentlemen, and be the referee. You guys can't debate it.
We can debate that, G. Will.
Let's get it in. Our page $50 win, lose, or draw for both contestants. Again, it's $50 win, lose, or draw on my YouTube channel, and we are streaming live on YouTube right now. Go give us a subscribe. Titans Debate League on YouTube.com right now. Yeah, we can set that up, Gerald.
Yeah, G. Will. G. Will. You probably don't remember this. Elron. I had another thing.
That's fine. It don't matter to me.
Yeah, we can debate
team. Look, listen to me. Listen at my hashtag. Hashtag team undefeated. I ain't never been beat. Never. By nobody.
Ooh,
It's
No,
easy money.
listen, you believe in something brand new than what you was believing 6 months ago.
It don't matter what I believe. I'm still
You
ain't
got
never been
deep
beat.
with what you believe. Listen, y'all I'd never let somebody change their religion within 6 months
Never.
and think that the religion that they changed to
Never.
is going to outdo the
Never.
incoherence that they already have. Y'all crazy.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. You can call us crazy, call us whatever you like. My
Because I know
hashtag
you,
said
G Will. Like I said, I know you just changed religion 6 months ago.
It don't.
You not
It don't.
just
It
make
don't.
me. Come on, man.
It don't. Listen.
Hold on.
Listen.
Hold on, Connor. Let him go. Go ahead, Jared.
Let's slow this down and let's just go. You know what I'm saying? Have a little back and forth if that's what you want to do about Israelites.
Yeah.
You know
No, I don't even want to have it. We're just gonna
Okay,
go.
so,
We'll take that.
Okay,
We already said
I'm
we're
gonna put this out
debate.
here just like this.
We said we're gonna
okay,
debate.
well, I'm gonna put it out here just like this. I'm gonna put it out here just like this. He gave a promise to Abraham. If you go by the book, Abraham's promise went to Isaac. Isaac's promise went to Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons, which became the Hebrew Israelites. The Most High said that he loved these people and he don't change. In Exodus 4:22, he calls us the Son of God. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 16, he told Moses that these people are going to betray me. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, there's a list of curses that we're to receive if we betray him. One of them is that you will be scattered into foreign lands and you will serve other gods. Here I am, sitting in a foreign land serving another God named Christ. Beat that right there. Show me how that's not true.
Yeah, because you ain't the only one, and we ain't the only people that's been scattered to different lands and worshiping this God that you believe in. Not only that. Not only that, God, when you say God was talking with Abraham and he gave his covenant to Abraham, Abraham asked him, what about his son? He said, Ishmael. He said, this ain't for Ishmael, but he did tell Ishmael that he was going to be a great nation. You described to me what a great nation is. That great nation going to be the same great nation that you're saying that the Israelites is. Ishmael and Isaac was at Abraham's funeral. When they left, they didn't have no problems. They split and became another people. And now y'all trying to say that they worshiping two different gods. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it.
So can you explain to me where Isaac and Ishmael went to Abraham's funeral?
So that way I can get the
Where was
I'll
it
show it
located?
to you in the debate.
and then we'll lock
Double tap that
okay.
screen. Gerald, go ahead and send me a photo so that way I can get the graphics started for the flyer, and then we'll lock in the date after that, live on YouTube. So yeah, appreciate you. Quantum or Owl over there already has had a debate. He got paid, so he can vouch how fast those cash apps come. Yeah, let's do it right. Let's get the promotion behind it and take it to the big stage.
Yeah, G Will, I tried to send you a message and tell you about this debate league because I knew you would want to get in it.
Hey, Gerald, wasn't Ishmael and isn't this in Genesis?
Shh.
Sure it is. It's in Genesis.
I'm gonna eat it up.
What do?
I thought you were. I thought you were denying the claim.
No, listen to this. Genesis 14:13. There was one that escaped and told Abram the Hebrew. I know what his son is. In the Hebraic traditions, the son is the same thing as the father. If Abraham is a Hebrew, I know that his first son Ishmael is going to be a Hebrew also. And so whatever comes after Ishmael is supposed to be Hebrew. What you'll find out is that there's an interruption in history that stops this from happening. Here comes a man named Muhammad that says that he's along the bloodline of Ishmael. Now, Ishmael has a nappy head. Ishmael got a nappy head. Muhammad don't have no nappy head. We got a problem.
Yeah. So back to like what I originally told you before. A lot of what we get from the genealogy, how we understand the genealogy. Do you know where we get a lot of Hebrew genealogy from?
You should get it from the Torah. If you get it from any other place in the Torah, you're being lied to.
It's not just the Torah. So Josephus as well. Hebrew historians, Second Temple Hebrews, First Temple Hebrews.
Do you have your book with you?
Are you going to let me like land the plane or what?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, bro. You're right.
So a lot of what we get, especially things like confirmation of the genealogy of Abraham, is again corroborated by historians like Josephus. Josephus writes extensively about how the children of Abraham spread to different nations. And he specifically talks about intermarriage between different nations. He talks about the different mythologies of these peoples and talks about the change over time. The same Josephus who people get the historical accounts of Jesus from, the same Josephus that a lot of people like to cite to confirm a whole bunch of other historicity of the Bible. So if Josephus, who confirms a whole bunch of your other stories, also says, hey, they also went out and Ishmael became the progenitor of the Arab people. And then one of his daughters went out and helped establish intermarriages into Greece. Who are you to deny that claim? If the rest of the history comes from people like Josephus and apologetics rests on Josephus, why would he be wrong about that?
The first thing is that Josephus is a man just like me. Josephus got to take a water break. He got to use the bathroom. He got to do everything. Now, when I read the Torah, and the Most High tells me inside of the book in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 26, I said I would scatter them into corners, and I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. How does Josephus have Israelite history when God himself tells us inside of the same book he's trying to tell you about that he is going to erase the memory of Israel from all mankind? Can you please explain how Josephus got our history then?
Because wait, so hold on. If you're relying on the Torah,
hold on. The only way you're going to get Israelite history is that you have to go into the covenant of God. And I will bet you $3,000 that you don't even know where God's covenant is. I bet you can't.
So make this make sense then.
Yeah, make it make sense.
If he was to erase the history of the Israelites, how do we know about the foundation of the Israelites?
Because you read it inside of his book. You read the first 5 books. That's the only way you're gonna get it. You got to go inside the covenant.
So when he said that he was going to erase the history of the Israelites, he was only going to erase the history of the Israelites, but the Torah. That's what you mean. Is that the claim?
No. You ain't hearing what I'm telling you. The book told Moses. The book says Deuteronomy 31 and 20 and let's say 31 and 26. Take the book of the law, put it in the side of the Ark of the Covenant, so that it may be there as a witness against you. The Most High said, I'm going to make a book, the book of the law, Deuteronomy. I'm going to make a book. And I want Moses to put it inside the Ark of the Covenant. So when G-Will the Hebrew finds it, that he will know what happened to his people. You cannot tell me that you know what happened to God's people unless you find this covenant of God. And you added to it. You added the books of Joshua, Judges, Ruth, and all the rest of them. And when you get through with those books, you get turned into a Jew. It's the only place in the world where you can be made a Jew inside of your Tanakh. And then later on, once I go past that, you're gonna become a Christian. You're gonna take the king of the Jews and going to create a whole nother religion. G-Will is in a building.
See what I'm saying? That's the incoherence. First, slow down, G-Will. You just mixed up covenant, ethnicity, genealogy, and later historians, and to track matter and race talk into one pile and put all of that together in one argument is just the incoherence that I be talking about. The first crack is this. The text itself says Ishmael will become a great nation, but it also says the covenant will be established with Isaac. So great nations and covenant lines are not identical categories in Genesis. If somebody treats them like the same thing, then you just flattening the text. Second, yeah, Isaac and Ishmael buried Abraham together, like I said, and you can find that in Genesis 25, verse 9, I believe, if my memory. But the shared funeral, it ain't the particular covenant. See, Isaac, and you talked about this before, and I was there, and then that's how I know you know what I'm about to say. Just because Isaac got the covenant, Ishmael got a promise that was just as strong as that covenant. Isaac's family wasn't supposed to do nothing but become a great nation. The thing that God told Abraham, don't worry about Ishmael. Ishmael will become a great nation. This is the same thing Backyard is talking about. I'm going to eat you for dinner, and you know this. None of this at all proves the divinity that y'all were reaching for in the first place. Besides that, so incoherence, keep it coming.
There's nothing on me edible.
Keep the incoherence stack. Can I finish? Can I land? I ain't even got no plane. I'm just an owl. I can land myself. When you come with that incoherence, I'm gonna show you how you stacking it on top of each other and how it's all incoherent. And that's what our debate is fixing to be. Having the incoherence of you saying that Ishmael and Isaac ain't worshiping the same God.
I'm also just curious, as like another question, if up until that, after that point, the history of the Israelites were unknowable, right? I'm thinking like all of it, right? How could they extrapolate on their own history later on? Like where are we getting anything past Ishmael and Isaac then?
Everything would just be known within the family line, I would assume.
So this whole family line is it's supposed to be incest and never marry out and expand.
Right.
So is
That's
Muhammad?
how plans work.
So is Muhammad from the bloodline of Ishmael?
See, that's the difference between
I care not about Muhammad or not. I'm talking about Ishmael and Isaac and their offspring. Those are the people that I'm talking about. Anybody that came and messed up that line, I care not about. The people who are supposed to be there worshiping are worshiping the same God. The real blood of Ishmael and the real blood of Isaac all worship the same.
Okay. So what I'm saying
No, we don't.
is,
we don't. There's a difference between the Most High and Allah.
That's the debate. Well, that's the debate. And no, that's what they try to change. That's where the division come in, and that's what makes it more incoherent. Are you
really trying to debate me? Let me inform you of something right here. Here's what I want you to go study right here. I want you to go study this. Before you pay your money, I want you to go study this. I'm gonna save you this ass whoop. I need for you to go to the book of Daniel. And there's an angel there. His name is Gabriel. I need you to go to the book of Daniel and find this angel Gabriel. Listen to me, because they're going to change his name to Jibril. I want you to know this. Go do your research and see if that's the same angel. Now, the Most High has a law to say that you can't serve another God. So this angel that you got in the book of Daniel, he is the same angel that carries the message from the mouth of Allah to the ears of Muhammad. The same angel that's in the book of Daniel. His name is Jibril. Before you step up to that mic, you better have your shit tight, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna have it tight because that's not what I'm arguing. See, that's the incoherence.
You are.
That's the
I'm gonna
show you. That's the incoherence.
That's one of the many things I'm gonna bring to play the show, bro.
Can I finish? That's the incoherence that I'm talking about. You telling me I have to show you that when I'm telling you that just because people came and got it mixed up, and there's problems today because of the incoherence, I'm showing you that the incoherence is parasitic to what we have today because of the differentiations of what's supposed to be. So you make sure you have it. I'm studying nothing. I don't care if they call Jesus Jesus. When you go speak in Latin or Spanish, they still talking about the same Jesus. Just because those people went and changed and say Jibril or whatever, or they call God Allah, they still talking about the same deities. You won't get past that. Or else you trying to say that God was lying when he said Ishmael was going to be a great nation. Brother,
sure,
I'm gonna eat you to death. I'm gonna eat.
It's impossible.
Bird food.
Because what you're doing is you're making a statement that's a true statement. We know that God said that he's gonna make him a great nation, but then you turn around and say that the promise is gonna go to Isaac. Now, see, the promise is all about land. It's all about a promised land. That's all this is about. It's about a land because the Most High knows that when the Israelites come out of captivity, that they're not going to have a land of their own.
Oh, so it ain't about the bloodline.
The Hebrews, hold on, bro. Hold on. The Hebrews are wanderers. We've never had our own land. And so in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 11, there's a description of the land of milk and honey where it says it has the rain water like the drinking water of heaven. It says that the eyes of the Most High God are always upon it from the evening until the morning because he loves this land. And he made this promise to Abraham to have some land. That's what this is all about. This ain't got shit to do with none that you talking about some damn Allah or none of them damn promises that's in the Quran. You're not going to be able to get away by saying the word Allah, and I'm not going to bring up the Quran. Bro, you can't win this. Impossible. I'm going to bring up the Quran because that has something to do with Allah. The moment that I bring up the Quran, bro, your ass is destroyed, man. It's too much shit in there.
No.
And then I'm going to bring up the Hadiths. It talks about the whiteness in Muhammad's legs. It talks about the whiteness in his face. Muhammad is a white dude. Ishmael is a black man. No way you telling me that Muhammad comes down the bloodline of Ishmael.
I
You got
never
a
said
problem
that.
somewhere.
That's not my argument.
Hey, Al,
That's
Al,
not
can I just say something real quick?
never been.
I'm
If you
bringing out
think that's
points.
what you, well,
No, let me land my plane. Let me land my plane. Let me land my plane. Now let you land yours.
My bad, G Will. My bad. I thought you
No. And so what you're going to have here is you're going to have a problem. I'm going to shred every little piece of evidence you got up. When it comes to the Quran, you can't sit here and talk about they got the same God. We don't have the same God. He is the God of the Hebrews. He tells you that. He's not the God of Islam and no Arabs. And how do you get Arabic? How do you get all of this when Ishmael is a Hebrew? The only thing that you have no idea what happened to us in history. The Hebrews go into captivity.
So are you conceding and you saying that the original
Everybody conceding
Ishmaelites?
shit. I'm trying to keep
you
from wearing
saying
your
that
ass
the
out.
original? Are you saying that the original Ishmaelites
That's right, my
worship
fault.
the same God as the original Israelites? They all Hebrews. Is that what you saying?
What?
I
The
said,
original
are
Israelites
you
is the same
saying
God as the
that
original
the
Israelites.
original Ishmaelites before Abraham, them? Let's fuck the Muslims.
You cannot
Let's
have
forget
an
Watch your language
Israelite.
too.
Oh, my bad. Forget.
Bro,
Hold on. Let me land. Let me land.
You cannot have an Israelite. You cannot have an Israelite without
Let me
Abraham. What are you
land, G
talking about?
Will. Let me land, G Will.
We have
Let me
no
land, G Will.
pre-Abraham
Let me land, G
Israelites.
Will. Let me land, G Will. This is where you gonna have your problems at. You gonna try to go to the Bible, and you gonna try to go to the Quran, and I'm gonna stay right there in the Bible about what the Bible say about Ishmael and Isaac. You got to show me that the people that Ishmael and that people that God promised, don't worry, Abraham, Ishmael gonna be a great nation. I care not about the people that come after. I'm talking about that blood right there. When Isaac and Ishmael left Abraham, that God that Isaac was worshiping was the same God Ishmael. You have to prove to me. You can go to the Quran if you want to. I'm staying in the Bible to prove to you how incoherent that is. And they still fighting today. And just like you said, the people that's fighting ain't even the people who was over there. They all two different people. I agree with you in that.
Can
I interject real quick?
Oh, wait a minute. I'm
real
going to ask this last question. I'm going to ask this so he can continue to speak. Can you show me Ishmael's history inside of the Bible? Where is history inside of
Hey, Gerald, real quick. You're talking about how Muhammad has light skin, and there's no way he can come from someone with dark skin, blah, 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 blah. This is 2 generations. You see that? That's two generations.
So you mean
the grandfather?
2 generations is possible for a black man to turn white in 2 generations? Are you kidding me?
Look at this. This is a grandfather.
Bro, you taking us out.
Hold on.
No way.
G Will. Let him land his plane.
G Will. This is a white grandfather. Do you know who this is?
Is that you?
Do you know who Drewski is?
Oh, that's Drewski?
That's Drewski. 2 generations ago, that was his grandfather, my guy. That's 2 generations. Within 2 generations, you can get a white guy and you can get a phenotypical black guy in his downline. You're acting like this is like a crazy thing. And think about how many generations between Ishmael and Muhammad there'd be. There'd be thousands of years, my guy. This is 60 years.
I appreciate you.
So what are you talking about?
My question is, Where?
I appreciate you, Canada,
no,
for the
no.
YouTube.
Wait, stop. Hold on. Let me ask him a question.
Muhammad.
Where does the Caucasian come from? Where is your origin?
No, I'm not a Caucasian, so
I'm not a Caucasian either.
Well, can anyone, since you brought him up, can you give me the origin?
Mountains.
So you telling me that God made a man to live up in the Caucasus Mountains? He was born there.
God
Where
didn't
did he
make
come
man.
from? Where did he migrate from?
He migrated from probably I would say probably from either Africa or probably.
Okay, so you're telling me. Hold on.
I didn't finish.
You telling me that a black man?
I was giving it either or. I didn't give a definitive. I said probably from either Africa or the Middle East. Now,
Okay, cool. So you telling me that a black man can go to the mountains and spend 2 generations in the mountains, and his hair gonna turn from being nappy and uncombable into thin, yellow, white hair, and his eyes gonna turn blue and his skin gonna turn white. You telling me?
Listen to what? So listen to me here, G-Will.
So I'm gonna ask you again. I'm gonna ask you. Hold on.
Listen to
answer
me.
my question. Answer my question. Hold on. I'm not through. I respected you.
We know what you're asking.
Me. No. Stop asking me. You don't know what I'm asking. I want to
do.
know where does the Caucasian come from?
Where do Caucasians come from? Where do people with light skin come from? If you literally
I didn't say light skin. I said where do Caucasian? Where do you get blonde hair and blue eyes and white skin?
So let me learn you some anthropology. Real quick.
Learn me.
All of these stories are coming from the Levant and the Middle East and North Africa. That's where a lot of these stories are coming from. If we go back from, you done? Okay, cool. Right. So if you look at the iconography, if you look at all of their writings, when they write people with light skin, which happens often, even in places with people who have the darkest skin, they're depicted as having very light skin. Do you know why that is in the area? Let me answer it for you. They do it because it gives a title of privilege. When someone's written into literature in this area having light skin, fair skin, kempt hair, straight hair, these are status symbols. These are status symbols of maintenance. This is confirmed in Arab literature. This is confirmed in North African literature.
The Bible says that Jacob had locks. The Bible says that Jacob had locks.
As I keep going,
please let Backyard finish. Please let Backyard finish. Go ahead,
so
Backyard.
already, right, we have a history of the area, the iconography. They play with phenotypes all the time to talk about like class and stuff. 2, we already know that if I have a child with a white woman, and then that child has a child with a white person, that child will look more Caucasian than they would look black. And that's 2 generations. So why couldn't a course of tens of generations or hundreds of generations, could someone who is, like you said, is black, why could they not present phenotypically white? If you said that the history is lost and there's no way to track exactly what those migration patterns look like, which is kind of what you're hinting towards, why could they not have made that journey? Can you explain how they could not have made that journey? How that journey would be illogical?
What he said.
Here we go right here. Adam and Eve made from the dirt. The soil inside, and soil that's so nice and brown looking. Adam means red, right? Esau, red. See, now what I have is that I have black people from Adam and Eve all the way to Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, all 3 little black kids. Get on the boat, they get off the boat, and they set up shop in the whole world. We don't have a Caucasian on the earth yet. Can you somebody please tell me where they come from? We don't have them yet.
Do you believe that people are different creations of God?
That's a theory.
That's another one of the.
I have studied multiple books.
Do you believe?
white man.
Okay, give me a theory, bro. I want to hear it.
It's not my theory. It's not even my personal theory.
Okay, I'm just asking the question. Obviously, it's a tough question.
The Mormons believe the mark of Canaan is us black people. But when I think about it, when the Bible talks about like people with disease or people who are cursed, it talks about stripping them of like their color and they look pale and stuff like that.
What was that called, bro? What was that called? If the Most High strips you of your melanin, what was that called back in the day? Back in biblical days, what was it called? He told Moses, put your hand inside your cloak. What did he do to Miriam? Miriam and Aaron were talking about Moses, and he told them to come outside of the tent of meetings. What did he do to her? He turned her white.
Yeah.
God turned Miriam white on the spot. In a matter of seconds, he turned her white. So I know I ain't got to spend 5,000 years up in those damn mountains.
Who said that you got to spend 5,000 years in the mountains? That's
what I just heard. That's what I just heard. They come from the Caucasus Mountains.
That's what I just heard. I'm just saying.
That's what I just heard.
They say.
No, I just heard that on the panel. Somebody's got to telling me that I said that.
I said you said, where do Caucasians come from? And I say they said that they come from the Caucasus Mountains. That's what they said.
What was that called that he gave Miriam? What did Moses have on his hand when he took it out and his skin turned white? What was that called back in the day? What was that called in the biblical days? There we go. There we go.
That's not what happened.
If you hold on, bro. Hold on. Let me say this. And then I'll go on mute again. I'll listen. If you strip a black man of his melanin, his skin will be white. His eyes won't have no melanin in it. They will be blue. And the Most High says in the book of Leviticus that your hair will turn thin and gold.
Okay.
That's the perfect picture. That's the perfect picture of him.
Okay, so
blonde hair, blue eyes, and white skin, right?
Right.
Is that not the perfect picture of him?
And I said that I'm not talking about leprosy. I'm talking about the mark of Canaan. And I'm saying that it is similar to other curses. I'm saying that because other curses is talking about stripping of the melanin, maybe the mark of Canaan, which is also a curse, is also a strip of the melanin, but not exactly like leprosy, more of it.
But you're trying to stretch this mark to be something that it's not when he just simply said he put a mark on him so those who find him won't do nothing to him. That's what that mark was for. It wasn't intended to turn everybody a certain color. The Most High had intentions on turning people that color for a reason.
To protect them.
And besides, we got a flood. We got a flood. We got a flood that happens. Shem, Ham, and Japheth are the sons of Noah. They're melanated young men, all three of them. There's something that happens inside of history that you guys need to know. The Most High does something that don't nobody the whole world know. He created something to go throughout the whole world and put that melanated man and put that melanated man in captivity. That's what he did. He created something. He stripped that black man of his melanin and created an enemy for the Israelites. And when he creates this enemy for the Israelites, the whole world feels the wrath. How does he do it? He puts leprosy in the air, just like he did COVID-19. And he starts turning folks white.
Anybody turn white?
Europe gets it first. Europe, you're gonna get it first. This is why when you see the word, when you see that word Ashkenaz as a Gentile, no way we supposed to have Ashkenazi Jews. It don't make sense. Don't make sense because Ashkenaz doesn't even come from the royal bloodline. These were black people that got turned white, and they carried on through the traditions. Christopher Columbus and all them Spaniards and all that type of stuff, they already knew where the Americas were. They used to run trade route with these folks. This land is not unfamiliar with them. They didn't stumble upon the land. These people were black people. They have been trading with these people, these natives that were living in this land all along. That's why they had maps. They got ancient maps of they've been sailing the 7 seas. This is nothing new. All praise to the Most High, man.
Yeah, man. Let me touch on something real quick before y'all move past it. Just out of fairness, because to suggest that an entire population is a population that's been brought into existence through curse and sickness, it's not cool. I understand that you believe that, and that's fine. But there's a different option. There's something called environmental adaptation. And it's quite possible, it is quite possible that a group left whatever area, whether you believe it started in the Americas or you believe it started in Africa, it's quite possible that these migrating populations got up into the area of the Caucasus Mountains and ended up in that area for a substantial amount of time. And through environmental adaptation, presented as they do now in modern times, as people who have little, if very small amounts of melanin, and their existence in that area is what created them. Excuse me, what changed their appearance. Does that have to be related to leprosy? Does it have to be related to a curse?
So if you hear what I said, I said this is just a theory that is based, my theory is a theory that was based off of another theory.
And see, and that's what I say. That's why I'm debating you, G.
Well, mine is based on facts that's inside of the book.
To show the incoherence of that whole
you're
idea.
Hold on, let's let Quantum only talk.
Yeah, because it's theories out there that the white folks is the ones that came from another planet, and when they talking about the angels mating with they talking about in the mixed breed races that came about, the Arabs and stuff so there's so many other different theories that can be put out there besides the one about somebody being cursed. And the next thing, this is the incoherence. I can't get past it. Y'all keep confusing the label with the origin story. Caucasian is an old race label from the 18th century classification, especially that dude Blumbart, I think. It is the one that tied the Caucasian name to the white people, what they call white. That ain't proof that God created white people in the Caucasus Mountains. That's a taxonomy history, not creation history. And on the actual human origins about modern Homo sapiens arose in Africa, not the Caucasians. That's a whole different line, and it's totally off route. It's like the incoherence. You jump spots to try to special plead with this incoherent belief that you was. Science guy made a coherent point. Backyard when he was talking, he said that the phenotype can change across generations. Skin color and related pigmentation traits are polygenic. We was talking about this before, about the polygenic traits of pigmentation. See, it's more than just people having wanting to be the people that God bless, and everybody is that's incoherent. I'm gonna eat you dead. Listen, the idea that populations can shift in appearance over time is not bizarre at all. Like, you see it. You done seen it in America. You got friends who got babies, and you might even have a baby by a white woman, and them kids grew up and have babies with a racist. You seen it, G. Will, because you in America. You know exactly what it is. We don't even have to go back and tell you had mixed, because you can see had mixed right here and know that was happening right there. So for you to say that somebody came out of a lab and got created by God to take over the world because God cursed everybody else, bring that argument. Hebrew Israelites, you keep on talking about disease and all of that race origins theory. Miriam becoming white as snow in Numbers 12 is presented as a skin affliction, not a creation of a new people group. It didn't say nothing about they making a new people with Miriam. Is Miriam the start of the white people then? Is that what you're telling me? Genesis 4 say Cain received the
you
mark.
landed your plane?
Genesis
You
4
landed
say,
your plane yet?
yeah, I ain't got no plane. I'm an owl. I can fly. Genesis 4, Cain received the mark, but it never says that the mark was skin color. Leviticus 13 talks about yellow thin hair as a diagnostic sign in a skin disease inspection, not as God manufacturing a new race. So taking isolated diseases, texts, and stretching them into an origin account of Europeans is gonna get you turned into bird food. I see my tree. Hold on, I'm about to land. If you strip melanin, you are talking about medical condition, not an ethnic origin story. I don't know how y'all caught in these delusions as smart and coherent as you are. It's an intelligibility thing that I'm talking about. So even before you get there, I'm gonna show you where that idea is incoherent before I landed right there in that tree right there.
And if you want to push back
The book Leviticus said.
Man,
I am talking, dude. Can you let me finish, my guy? Because this is like you keep referencing the Torah. You keep referencing these things. If we're going to stay consistent, Zaharat doesn't describe leprosy. What you're describing doesn't describe leprosy.
If we're going to stay in the Bible, stay in the Bible. You're trying to give me your interpretation or something
No,
that you learned today.
It's not my interpretation. This is literally at what
the book. Let's stay in the book. Then. Show me something different in the book.
I'm staying in the book, and you keep describing it. I'm trying to show you how it's incoherent because we know what leprosy is. We know the symptoms of leprosy. We've been recording the symptoms of leprosy for 2,000 years. So we know what it is. What we know it is not.
Do you realize that they talk about other types of leprosy in this book? Do you realize that? They talk about the leprosy that breaks your skin open. It talks about the leprosy that only put white blotches on you. But they also talk about leprosy that turns you white. It talks about all of that. This is how I know you haven't read these books. The same little Hansen's disease that you're about to bring up, it talks about that. It talks about how if your skin is broken open and all that type of stuff. You haven't read it.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's Leviticus 13 is about diagnosing that disease.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to say.
You are going to diagnose. You're going to diagnose, and when the priest look upon him, the priest is the one that's going to be doing the diagnosing. And when the priest look upon you, if all your skin has turned white, your ass is clean. And then your hair gonna be blonde.
The point that I'm trying to make, the point that I'm trying to make is that if it is a medical if it's a medical diagnostic thing, we don't have a single case of a skin disease in history causing another race of people, right? If Zaharat describes a broad...
It was a plague, bro. Do you know what a plague is?
A disease, yes. A disease,
yes,
a disease. So if...
It was a plague. And it was turning people white.
Can I ask a question? Let's take a deep breath, Gerald. I'm going to be able to hear both of you gentlemen. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question in connection with this?
After the brother up top, Backyard gets to land his plane. After Backyard lands his plane,
all right.
Trey, it's on you.
All right, sir.
Trey, it's on you.
All right, sir. All right.
Yeah, so again, if Zaharat in the Bible is describing something specific, and what we know the disease is something else that's specific, and we don't have the records of any other skin disease causing in any population a complete phenotypic change of race, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It is utter. Your argument is incoherent. It's three different statements that all do not find.
Can catch leprosy.
Just like when I tried to explain.
One mic, gentlemen. One mic.
Just like how I just said to you, how within 2 generations, man can have a black presenting grandson without a disease. That is the most probable thing that happened. People intermarry, people move to different locations, genetic mutations happen and get carried on within the genome, not a curse or a disease, my guy. We don't have a single disease on planet Earth that we've ever recorded, right? That we've seen spread throughout populations where it's turning black people's spread throughout populations where it's turning. If that was the case, and it was a pandemic of some sort that could do that, you would see it happening in a whole bunch of different places, but you don't. You would see other people writing about it, but you don't. So before you make these claims, you better have a whole bunch of structure around it to show us what's going on. Because these are just naked claims about biology that are false.
Hold on. I walked through this. Through this. I showed you how man is made from the dirt of the ground, Adam and Eve. If there are no genetic makeups,
you didn't show that.
Mess up. Hold on, bro. Hold on. If we don't have no genetic mess ups, and it's proven that the first people got to be my color. They melanated. And so again, we got 8 melanated people get on that boat. 8 melanated people get off that boat. And I'm asking you to explain to me, where does the blonde hair and blue eyes come from if it doesn't come from the Most High changing a black man into a white dude? Show me something else.
Yes, the mutation
Can I jump in right here?
What is the topic? Can I understand what is the topic you're talking about?
Hey, let me ask Backyard a question real quick before we move on. Hey, Pasha, 1 second, brother.
All right.
Backyard, you said you study these populations?
Yeah.
Okay. In studying these populations in the Caucasus Mountains, were there a population of humanoid before humans migrating out of Africa reached that area?
Like, were there like other human ancestors there before like Homo sapiens left Africa? Yeah, there were.
They wouldn't have been human ancestors.
They would have been. They would have been. Or descendant. Or nope. Yep. Ancestors. Yeah. Homo erectus was there.
I'll stick with that. So we don't get spent off. What population would have been in that area that would have had white skin, blonde hair, blue eyes?
That would have had lighter skin. So what population could have been there? So are you asking me how it happened? Or are you asking me were there other hominins there? Like our ancestors, human ancestors were in the Caucasus Mountains before Homo sapiens left Africa.
And who were they?
Homo erectus.
That's it?
Homo erectus, the Denisovans, Homo naledi. There were a couple of different hominin species that were in that area before we got there.
There would have been one, though, that would have been very specific to what could answer G. Will's question. And that would have been the Neanderthals.
We didn't come from Neanderthals. We come from a common ancestor. We come from a common ancestor with the Neanderthals. So Neanderthals and
Backyard. Hold on 1 second, Backyard, because I want to be clear. At one point, and I don't get involved in this race stuff, but I hear a question being asked. At one point in time, science did not identify Neanderthals as even being human. Then over time, for whatever reason, they switched their position. What I'm saying is they then again switched their position in saying that the group that came out of Africa at some point came into contact with them, the Neanderthals, and they interbred. So if that is true, then their offspring would have presented with these things that Gerald is talking about, G. Will is talking about. The admixtures, the blonde hair, the blue eyes, and all that. So I'm asking you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we know for a fact, so we can have, right, so let me rewind a little bit. Neanderthals, right? First things first, most white people do not have Neanderthal DNA. One.
All white people have some Neanderthal DNA. That's not true, Backyard.
That's not true at all. A lot of white people do not have Neanderthal DNA. I know that for a fact.
We got a problem with science. Y'all trying to get out the book.
That's not true.
Y'all gonna have some problems.
That's not true, Backyard. But go ahead, brother, because anybody can research that and find out that's not true. The only group that has little, if any, Neanderthal DNA are those that are in Africa.
Once
you leave Africa,
this is objective. This is objectively not true. This is like the literature. This is the literature. I can pull up a bunch of different papers that study this extensively. I can pull up the newest research behind it. I promise you, not all Caucasian people, white people, have Neanderthal DNA.
Okay, well then let me back it up because I don't want to get lost.
So how old? How old would a Neanderthal be?
So the last time that we have like in our genetics that we've detected like interbreeding would have been between 40,000 and 80,000 years ago.
Oh, I'm done. You outside of my range of the book. I'm done.
Yeah, this is science. I'm not talking about your Bible.
Yeah, I know science tells me that there's a planet named Venus that I'm supposed to see every morning when I get up. But
yeah, I'm not engaging with that. Trey Union,
okay, cool.
You reply to that?
Yeah, so from what I understand, and again, I can only go off from what I study. They said that all populations, as you leave Africa, you start to find traces of Neanderthal DNA. And the closer you get up into Europe, you find more as far as the percentage goes. So I'm not sure what you're reading, but it gives a clear sign, but that would make sense because that's where they were.
Yeah. So again, most Neanderthals, especially when we like do get some of their genome, they're presenting a mixture of mutations in the OCA2 gene, which is like where a lot of like pigmentation comes from. Not all pigmentation, but some pigmentation. A lot of Neanderthals would have been like tan, brown. As far as like eye color and hair color goes, we really can't be certain about that. But I am telling you this right now. We have sequenced the human genome. Not all Europeans have Neanderthal DNA. And we also have other human other human species. Like for instance, people in Nepal have admixture from things called the Denisovans, right? They have high altitude adaptations from them. No other population has that. No other population has that. Again, very, very small amounts of interbreeding happen between, from what we can tell from the genetics, between humans and Neanderthals. We think that there were two major events when it happened. But again, like the amount of DNA that we're finding in Europeans, it's mixed and matched, right? It's not all over the place. It's not all Asians. It's not all people from the South Pacific. It's not Native Americans. Some people have it, some people don't.
Okay.
Okay, I want to let Pasha go next because he was showing something on the screen. I put you on the big screen, Pasha. Go ahead. Can you hear me, Pasha?
I have here, this kind of science stuff, but I personally believe the human race started in Africa, definitely. That is my belief, but I'm also a religion man. I'm a Muslim myself. I'm not Christian.
Assalamu alaikum.
Christian, this Adam was not the first man. He was the first prophet. He was not the first man, Adam. Calling to
Make sure you go subscribe on YouTube, everybody. We are streaming live on YouTube right now, youtube.com/@Titans Debate League. Go ahead and you can catch the replay of anything you heard that you like today. Back to you, gentlemen.
Look at this. What is this? Funny stuff. Oh, here we go. I got here something myself. Science. Yeah, science only talk about they can prove. But believe is something else. Far, far more than science. I think I should take this off. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking. I understood a little bit you're talking about this human evolution, whatever you call it. But to me, it's not so big deal. I know for sure that the human race started in Africa, bit by bit. The people who are in Europe become white because of the water. Nothing special about them.
Yeah, we were talking about how we get to what G. Will was explaining as far as the presentation of, the white man. I was just trying to say that in looking at it,
we all got a
reasonable
gene from African man.
Right. We all come right. I get that, but in looking at it, I said it was reasonable to look at whether or not Neanderthals played a role in the admixtures that came. And
it wouldn't be
later on, this Homo sapien who came in Europe, they just vanished from this continent. This how you call it, Anatals. I'm from Europe, basically myself.
Gotcha. Backyard. I just looked it up again, man, and it does say that modern non-Africans. It's very clear to say non-Africans. Modern non-African humans today.
Our ancestors. The ancestors of the human race is from Africa. We cannot.
Hang on, Pasha. Let him talk. He's talking to Backyard.
Backyard. I just wanted to point out to you, man, and this is the point I was trying to make earlier. It does say here that modern non-African humans still today carry 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, we could have that.
Yeah, what I said specifically and what you claimed earlier was that all Europeans have Neanderthal DNA. That's not
it gets
true.
Stronger, so we don't have to say all then.
I want to challenge.
But that's the point. But that's the point, Trey. That's the point.
Backyard, that's not the point. The point
yes, it is because you were saying.
Hold on, let me show you why. Let me show you why I said it, so you don't have to speak for me. The reason I injected that was to say there is another population that was on the planet that had pale skin and some of these other traits that Gerald was speaking about. That group was separate from those in Africa. When they came into contact with each other, that could have been when these things were presented. What he's speaking to, that would move around leprosy.
Europeans would have Neanderthal DNA. All white people would have Neanderthal DNA. Not all white people have Neanderthal DNA.
So here's why I didn't want to. Here's why I conceded, is because the same thing that you told G. Will. It is quite possible that some people came into Europe that were not from Europe, but then were there for so long that they were just considered Europeans. If we're going to go off the foundational population of what's considered to be Europeans, there are some who argue that entire foundational population is Neanderthal.
And next, let's go to Humble Mystic. He just hit the panel. How you feeling today, Humble Mystic?
European carries Neanderthal DNA. There's no way to say, oh, well, we can't say not all Europeans carry Neanderthal. Yes, every European carries.
It doesn't say every European up there, does it?
This is what I was trying to say.
It doesn't say all white people and people from the Caucasus Mountains, right? If we're going to talk about the Caucasus Mountains, who were the original inhabitants of the Caucasus Mountains?
I'll
Where'd they
definitely
come
read it for you, because in all fairness, it doesn't say what you said, and he was right. It doesn't say all. It says virtually every person. That's not all. That means like there's a percentage of, when somebody says virtually every person, it lets me know that there's probably somebody at some remote distant corner.
But host, wouldn't you say
it's not a definite, but I'll continue to read for you. It says the short answer is yes. I don't know what the question was though. What was the question?
Does all Europeans have Neanderthal DNA?
Okay,
Short
let me
answer
finish
is
reading.
yes. Virtually every person with indigenous, not just Europeans, people with indigenous European ancestry carries DNA. This means that these people was from that land. Now, these people that he's talking about that's saying they're European on the panel, these are offsprings of them. But we're talking about the indigenous Europeans, right? So now you can't say that if the all indigenous had Neanderthal DNA, that now y'all don't have. No, y'all have Neanderthal DNA.
And so basically what he's saying is that they were black people living there. And so for some reason, either the white people came there and whooped them and took over their stuff, or those black people got turned white. One of the
I have a question.
Because the indigenous of Europe are black. The indigenous
that's
of
what I was
Europe
going to
are
say.
black.
People don't
No,
have
they're not.
Neanderthal DNA.
Yes, they are.
Hold on.
First of all, hold on. Everybody slow down. I got a question. I need some clarity. Yeah, because I'm under the impression that indigenous Europeans are black as well.
Yes, it's true.
And then over time, their skin changed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's environmental adaptation.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out where we are.
Not over time. No, not over time. Your skin don't change like that. Dude, I talked to
that it does.
Look, I was born in Ohio.
We definitely.
I got people that live in Michigan. I know folk that live in Canada. Black folk been living up there their whole life. They ain't turned white.
Bro.
Stop.
Bro, I can't. Come on, bro. I'm in Ohio as well. I can't make it through a winter without looking light skinned. And then I'm dark as heck in the summertime.
You can look light
so
skinned,
imagine
but you have babies, right? But when you have a child, the child is going to take on the characteristics, not because you're getting lighter. The child will come out.
You haven't heard my thought. But all I'm saying, I've been in Ohio. I can't go through a winter without getting light skin. I multiply that over a few generations, over 10,000 years. That's about how much time they say natural selection takes to change someone's skin color.
Exactly.
And it's so that way they can better survive. Hold on. It is so they can better survive in the climate. Dark skin repels the UV rays. So when you're in a climate where the sun is further away, that can be detrimental to how you process the vitamin D that you need. Exactly. That's why this mutation took place.
Yeah, bro. But
go ahead,
but out of
now
love,
it's on you, sir.
You're telling me that you are a melanated person. You love the sun, You know what it does. And you're telling me that these people are going to migrate to go live in a very cold area. Dude, logically.
They were forced.
I mean, hold on, bro. Hold on. Logically, hold on, bro. Logically, we don't do that. That is not done. We have everything we need.
You can't do that.
We have everything we need where we are. We have plush areas. We got plenty of water. We got rivers. We got 4 heads. We got the Gaizon, and all that old stuff. The Euphrates River. We got all this lush area.
No.
We're living good. The Egyptians are living good.
Nobody saying anything. You go ahead, G Will. You go ahead.
We are talking about millions of years.
We don't have a reason.
Nobody say anything but G Will. I want to respond when he's finished. Go ahead, G Will.
We wouldn't have a reason to go to those areas to try to, relive our lives and to try to produce people of another kind. Because the people that we're dealing with, they're melanated, the hair is going to be nappy, because it said that Jacob had locks in his head. And so, you know what I'm saying? It takes a lot to pull the melanin out of your skin, to turn your eyes blue, and to give you blonde, thin hair. We got 8 people on that boat, 8 melanated people, and 8 melanated people get off.
He's talking about.
Let me respond for you before you make too many points. Your point was that
very fresh.
Your point was, Pasha, let me respond to him. Your point was that because it's cold and that we know what the sun does, that it's illogical for us to migrate, and that it couldn't have happened because it's illogical, because it's cold. Is that your assertion? Because that's what you said.
Yes, sir.
So your whole theory is that it didn't happen because it was cold. Okay, I won't engage with that.
My whole theory is not.
I think that's illogical, and I think if that's where you're standing, I shouldn't even engage with you at all in this conversation. You got the floor. Go ahead. You can talk to everybody else.
No. What I was saying was that for me, it would be illogical for me to leave plush and lush areas and just go to an area to where I gotta, be cold and try to survive in caves. It doesn't make sense that you would do that. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, according to your logic, there shouldn't be anywhere cold inhabited ever, because it's illogical. But I digress, and I'll let the panel handle you.
If they knew what was up there, they would never have migrated. That makes sense. But because they were migrating, they found out what was up there, and they had to do what they had to do to survive.
I mean, once the Most High turns you white, then you have to hang in those areas. You can't hang out in Egypt. You can't go where it's white, because you refrigerator white. You're not like the white that you see today. Because you still have some people. You still have some people on the earth that are still
God turned people white
through a plague called leprosy.
Nah, bro, that's you tripping, my guy.
That's what I'm gonna debate him on.
Wait,
Humble. That's why I'm just sitting here.
How did you start off scientific talking about white people had a certain, and then you jump to God made them white? Wait a minute, bro. You
said that they Neanderthals when they came from black people. Say black people ain't Neanderthals.
I never said nothing about Neanderthals. I don't believe in Neanderthals.
Black people came from. He said Neanderthals came from black people.
I never said. I don't say nothing about Neanderthals.
That must have been the other dude.
Listen to me, so you'll know. Listen to me, so you'll know exactly what I'm saying.
I want to ask Backyard a question when y'all are done. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? Listen to me, so you know exactly what I said. You don't have to have secondhand language or terminology. I said that the Caucasian comes from leprosy, according to what it says inside of the Torah. That's what I said.
Oh, so are y'all going to
double tap that screen? Double tap that screen. Share the live.
What the scientific consensus says? Is that what y'all going to debate? That's what y'all should debate, because that's wrong. I mean, according to the Torah, I guess you could say, and that's not even true. Because last time I checked, white people came from Esau, according to the Hebrew Israelite doctrine.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just to show how illogical it is in the first place. I'm gonna show how illogical.
I have a question for Backyard.
No.
Backyard, can you tell us from your studies where Neanderthals come from?
Neanderthals, from what we can tell, come from a population of Homo erectus. Homo erectus migrated first east and then north So the oldest Homo erectus fossils we have come from Africa. Then the next oldest are in like Asia. Then we find them up in the Caucasus Mountains. Then we find them in Europe. Shortly after that, we find ourselves with Neanderthals. Again, when we're talking about admixture, you need to understand and have a very nuanced understanding of what those genes are and what it's doing, right? So we know where the genes for our skin pigmentation comes from. We know when the mutation happened. We have it dated. We have it around 18,000 to 11,000 years ago is when people started presenting phenotypically white like we think of them today. The last time that we have confirmed Neanderthal, major Neanderthal genetic mixing, right, admixture events, is somewhere 40,000 and 80,000 years ago.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Where did you get a sample of Neanderthal blood from to compare it to?
I'm trying to learn from him. I need you to let him finish. I'm trying to learn from him, and we are streaming live on YouTube. Go ahead, Backyard.
Yeah, so we have like pretty good genetic material that's come from Vendija Cave from Croatia. We have Neanderthal DNA from the Alta Mountains, and we also have DNA that comes from Feldhofer Cave. These are all between 100,000 and 38,000 years old. That's perfectly within the time frame in which you could have someone in like a cold condition, such as permafrost, that can preserve soft tissue. That's actually where we started getting, like when we started the Genome Project 20-something years ago, that's where we got that genetic material from. We then took human genetic material, not just genetic material from Europe, but we also took genetic material from people all over Africa. We then sequenced all of this DNA, and then we matched, right? We matched the DNA, which what this means is we're looking at what's called allelic frequencies, and we're looking at codon structures. So like when you're looking at DNA, it's coded in TCGA, right? I'm not going to go into the full science behind genetics, right? But pretty much in the different combinations of TCGA, you can code any protein within the body. This means skin pigmentation, this means metabolism, this means all that stuff, right? When we're talking about admixture of Neanderthal DNA, what we're talking about are copies of a copy. So most people who have Neanderthal DNA simply have a slightly deviated gene that does the exact same thing as the human gene. How we know this is because we have Neanderthal human hybrids. We have Neanderthal human hybrids that we've dug up, and we've been able to sequence their DNA. And what we do know about Neanderthal human hybrids, just like a lot of other hybrids in the human species or in hybrids in nature, a lot of them, especially if it's like human male and a Neanderthal female or a certain mixture like that, the kids will be sterile. You couldn't carry a population large enough of human Neanderthal hybrids to push any meaningful Neanderthal genes forward into the human population, other than genes that code for the exact same proteins that you'd see in humans. And the reason why they are the exact same, almost perfect matches of human genes is because we share a common ancestor, Homo erectus, which left Africa into Asia and into Europe. Neanderthals come from Homo erectus. We come from Homo erectus. So like when you're talking about genes, none of this is like novel. None of these are novel genes.
Is there a origin for Homo erectus? Where's his origin?
Within Africa.
Okay, so
it's true, whatever you said, this guy.
Okay, so Homo erectus is an African, a black man that migrates up north.
Both east and north. He migrated east first, then north.
Exactly. You know, some white people in Europe, they don't like to listen to this kind of story. But it's true.
Wait a minute. I want to put it together. I'm learning. I want to put it together. I listened to him. I want to put this together. So you're telling me that all Caucasians are going to have black people DNA?
All Caucasians. So I talked about this last night. It's called the founder effect. So when you have a migrate, so let's think about it like this. Africa is the most genetically diverse place on planet Earth.
Bro, listen. You just explained to me.
I'm giving you. I can't.
I sat here and I listened, and you explained to us that Homo erectus comes from Africa, and that he is considered to be the caveman or the oldest man in the world, and that his DNA would be in all Caucasians. Is that what
no?
You're
He's
saying?
not the oldest man. He's not the oldest man in the world.
Okay,
the oldest human.
Are you saying that his DNA would be in all Caucasians? Yes or no?
It's more complicated than that, and I was trying to explain that to you. So again,
would he be in 95% of their? Give me a percentage.
Again, let me explain how this works before you try to, because you're trying to steer it to a conclusion based off of a faulty question, based on a thing that you don't understand.
Bro, don't go through the same thing.
Gerald, you have to let him explain, because sometimes we look for oversimplifications because we don't understand how complex things are.
Okay, cool.
Let him take the time, since he's going to school for this, to teach you. And then at least show him that you understand the way he's explaining it. No, hold on. At least show him, let him explain it, then you can repeat it to make sure that you understand it, and then disagree with it. But,
okay, cool.
Don't try to force the answer, because you're not the teacher, though. You haven't been through the class yet to do that. Got you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Backyard. No problem. Because I'm learning as well, and I wouldn't do that to him when I don't have the knowledge of the situation. All I can do is take what he says at face value, then go review it, then come back and dispute it. But I shouldn't be doing that real time if I haven't taken the time to do the homework. So just take the time to learn, take some notes. I'm sure he'll be back. And go ahead, Backyard. It's on you.
Yeah. So when we're looking for Homo erectus DNA, the issue is we don't have complete Homo erectus DNA stuff. Right? That's the issue. The farther back you get, the more fragmented DNA is. But we probably all have a small fraction of Homo erectus DNA. A lot of the genes that we would have inherited would have been the genes for our metabolism to give them the brain growth that we need, the genes for bipedalism, the ability to walk upright, the genes to start figuring out the environment. The issue is that those genes mutate over time. Those mutations in those genes are what you're going to see cause what we call speciation, right? So it's hard to say how much DNA in a modern human is to Homo erectus, because we're not necessarily sure exactly how those genetic mutations change over time, right? A lot of genes like hair color, skin color, those things can be affected by a host of other genes, right? It could be 10 different genes acting on your eye color at any given period of time, acting on your eyesight in any given period of time. And so when you're asking a question like 800,000 years ago, do we have the exact same genes as Homo erectus? Probably not. And it's hard to match those genes, but Neanderthals lived and went extinct 38, Neanderthal.
And I want to jump in real quick, because what you're explaining is, hold on, I don't know who's talking right now. What he's explaining is polygenic, how skin color and things like that are polygenic. Am I correct, Backyard?
Yes. So polygenic expressions. So you can have one gene that necessarily can flip on and off that expresses a protein, but many different other genes affect how that gene functions. Right.
And just to give them a simplified version, because I had a debate on do white people come from albinos? And I explained in that it's almost like mixing paint. And imagine if you have 12 different genes, you can have different levels on each one. You can have a bunch of different variations that produce the same skin color out of a person. And it'd be different combinations on the genes, and none of them are the same. So, but go ahead.
So what are you saying though about the Neanderthals? And are they extinct?
So to explain this too, right?
But would you be basing that on? You be basing it on the idea that there are a lot of different genes. You know what I'm saying? You're basing
there are a lot of different genes.
Telling you that there are
a lot of different genes.
I understand that, but that's what you're basing that on. right? And so what if the Most High only created a certain amount of genes for a certain kind of person, and that was it? And then once he does this, now you have this gene mixing. If you tell me that, if you tell me that you believe this, that means that you don't believe in the Bible. Is that correct?
Are you talking to me?
No, Backyard.
Oh yeah, at least as
Yeah,
far as
I'm not-
me, I definitely don't. Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe
I don't believe in the Bible.
Now I understand. I
the
understand.
Bible
I understand.
is Bible is
okay,
a
I understand.
science book, so I don't look
Right.
to it
So when
for evolution or
you're
biology.
saying, right. So when you're saying the stuff about Neanderthals, I'm taking this from a scientific perspective and what we know about Neanderthals and how we know admixture works and how we know genetics works. None of this is being informed by the Bible. But I will tell you this, right? If you're going to say
That's
like,
called
oh,
Esau.
well, do all... Sorry, G. Will. What was your contention, G. Will?
The Bible speaks only about one nation, Israeli. That's it. What is big deal about Bible? What says?
It's the reason why you don't see the line of Ishmael in there.
Yeah, they were all from the same branch. There was all people living there.
They were?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
What is this big deal? Abraham also.
It is a big deal.
Yeah, it is big deal. Why you don't mention this? Abraham, his wife Kasura, 4 sons. She was a black woman from Africa.
Yeah, she was the daughter of Pharaoh.
But G. Will, I just wanted to say this one last thing to G. Will to talk about how counterintuitive this genetic stuff is. If you try to match Neanderthal DNA to human DNA, it's like 95 to 99% identical, right? With people carrying up to 1 to 4% of Neanderthal DNA.
You mean black people or you mean white people?
Like if you take the human genome, right? The human genome, that's all races, right? And you match it. You try to match it. You're matching gene for gene, what they do, how they function, how they assemble the body. It's like 95 to 99% of a match rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you're inheriting, though, the 1 to 4% between certain populations, all that is are like slightly different protein coding genes. Like it's not even a significant difference to even like say it's so small that like you wouldn't be able to get another race out of it. It's so inconsequentially small is what I'm trying to explain.
But
like
you didn't answer
like
my question though.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to G. Will.
Oh, okay. I
was just trying to explain, like, when you're looking, like, when you're Googling this stuff and you're looking at the percentages and stuff like that, you have to take it into the context of, like, genetics and what the literature is trying to tell you. And I was saying this yesterday, like, science communication is, like, really bad right now, where we have a lot of people trying to explain things and they're using analogies that lead people into a false sense of understanding of, like, what the paper is trying to explain. And I'm just trying to do that right now with this whole like admixture thing. Cause I see so many people being like, oh, like Caucasian people must have come from Neanderthals. When it's like every paper that talks about this admixture and they talk about aligning these genetic sequences, those papers do not come to that conclusion.
Well, scientists confirmed that though. Scientists confirmed that. Blacks don't have any type of chromosomes or anything from Neanderthals. It's Caucasians. And that's like 4 or 5%.
And also, Backyard, you just gave a percentage. What is the similarity between
if you look at a Neanderthal picture, what do you see?
Right. So, for instance, when we look at when we look at genomic sequencing that comes out of Africa. So, when I told you earlier, when we are doing this genetic sequencing and started the Human Genome Project, we're also taking human genome from Africa. If we look at African base pairs, if we look at the genomes of like any given African, and you pluck them out of the population, right? On average, they're going to have a little teeny tiny, an inconsequential amount of Neanderthal DNA.
Yeah.
These genes that you see though are genes like folding a protein to create a muscle. And it's almost identical to what a population that doesn't have Neanderthal DNA would have. It's simply a copy of a copy. It doesn't mean anything.
Black man was before Adam anyway.
Oh, you say what?
Black man in Africa was living before Adam was existing.
Well, black people been around for 700 million years before Caucasian.
Adam was just 6,000 years ago, and black man a million of years in Africa
before Christ.
What Christ you talking about?
I was asking Backyard a question about
this in Bible, the story about this kind of stuff have nothing to show us. Absolutely nothing. Especially Bible.
Okay, we can debate that, but Backyard.
Yeah.
It says that Africans have no Neanderthal DNA.
That's correct.
Who said that?
So what I'm reading right here says Africans have little to no Neanderthal DNA.
What did I say earlier? I said they have a very small amount of Neanderthal. Did you say little to no? What does little to no mean?
He said no.
That means that some of them don't have it.
But some do, right?
That? No, listen to the question, Backyard. Listen to the question, because that's what I was trying to get established with you earlier before the conversation changed. If it says that there are Africans who have none, that means that you cannot connect. Pasha, can you go on mute, brother? If it says that there are some Africans that have none, how do we explain those who have none?
The same way that we have some European populations that have none. So what I'm saying is from the very beginning, what I was saying was all of this points to the fact that human origins do not come from Neanderthals. Admixture is just admixture, right? So yeah, you're going to find populations that have Neanderthal DNA, but at the same time, you're going to find human populations with no Neanderthal DNA. And then when you match and you try to align those genes and you see, okay, this person has a base pair that comes from Neanderthals, and then you look at that exact same analogous base pair to a Homo sapien, they're nearly identical. And they function almost the exact same way. So we can conclude that nothing meaningful comes from the gene, right? No like major human trait we inherited from Neanderthals. The things that we get from Neanderthals are simply genes that are compatible only because we share a common ancestor.
I know, but are you telling me that the Neanderthal is an African?
The Neanderthal evolved in Europe. Homo erectus went to Europe, and Neanderthals evolved in Europe.
So
that's what I was saying.
So the oldest bones. Hold on. So the oldest bones in the world. So the oldest bones in the world are found in Africa, right?
Yeah.
So that means that the Homo sapiens would have to have been someone who came from Africa to go to the north to become the Neanderthal. Is that correct?
No, we share a common ancestor. The ancestor of Neanderthals, the thing that left Africa was Homo erectus. Homo erectus that stayed in Africa became Homo sapiens. Homo erectus that left Europe and went to Europe became Neanderthals, right? And so the Homo sapiens stayed in Africa, and we evolved separately from each other. And then from what we can tell, 2 times from what we can tell, did we meet our populations meet. And then when those populations met,
just to clarify everything,
the interbred.
You're a great man.
Okay,
you
okay, just to clarify everything. The common ancestor.
It's enough for us to the guy have explained. So the I don't know why you go so deep. You making men that tired.
So I just want to be clear.
Don't believe it.
I do believe it. So the one common ancestor that you're telling me is the first man in Africa. That's the one common ancestor. Is that correct?
Between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, Homo erectus, yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Also, Trey Union. I also want to point out another thing that a lot of people, if you're not in the literature, so Homo heidelbergensis. If we find a bone, right? If we're digging out in Africa or in Asia and we find a bone and we don't know what species it is, we just call it Homo heidelbergensis. Homo heidelbergensis within the literature, like if you went to like an anthropologist or like a paleoanthropologist, they wouldn't say that Homo heidelbergensis is like a coherent species. It's just a thing that we throw all the bones that don't make sense into like a big pot, and we just kind of say like, okay, we'll revisit that later.
Right here, that's who they say is the connection.
Right. What I'm trying to.
Is that the same thing as carbon dating?
What, like when we're dating? No. So we're not really using carbon dating to date like heidelbergensis or anything like that, because these things existed way older than what we can carbon date. There's other ways to date other than carbon, but carbon dating isn't good for anything over like 40 to 60,000 years.
Can I take a wait? Trey, did you understand? Did that answer your question?
Not really, because he said it was Homo sapiens.
Wait, no, I said we're Homo sapiens. I was explaining heidelbergensis.
Yeah, you're not. I said it wrong. Yeah, I said the wrong term.
That's what I was going to try to take a crack at, to like see if to make sure I understand it, for one, because I'm learning too, but also see if that can kind of bridge the gap. So I think what he's saying about them is that it's like miscellaneous, right? Backyard, because you said it's when we don't know what something is, that's what we assign to it, or that's what they assign to it.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it's treated amongst research. You just kind of like if you find like a human ancestor bone and you're not really sure what it is or where it fits within like the evolutionary timeline, everyone just kind of throws it at Homo heidelbergensis. You have people who try to like write papers to describe what Homo heidelbergensis is, but then like when you go into like deposits where like we put all these bones, none of it actually makes sense. So again, when we're talking about Neanderthals, we know they came from a common ancestor. That common ancestor being Homo erectus. Neanderthals and humans both evolved separately on two different continents. And then at least twice over time, we interbred. When we interbred, we mixed our genes a bit, and we're able to do that because our genome is nearly identical. And the genes that we see from Neanderthals are typically like genes that are of no consequence. So again, they're usually duplicates of duplicates. It's like I'm trying to think, it's kind of like if you use an aftermarket part in your car, right? And it didn't come from the dealership, but like it still works in the car and it still fits snugly. It's the same kind of thing.
So are you trying to tell us that this is how you get Caucasians with blue eyes and blonde hair to mix with Negroes with nappy hair?
No. So the gene, the OCA2 gene,
and how could they mix though?
Genes,
that's two different brands. I mean, humans and Neanderthals.
As I said before, humans and genetics. So when we did the genome project,
them all day. That's why I've been trying to get out of them all day.
Okay,
that's like a cat and dog.
No, it's not like a cat and dog.
I've been asking them all day. Where does
let him explain it again, because he did just explain how they interbred, right?
So again, like I said before, when we do the Human Genome Project and we've also like mapped out the Neanderthal genome, it's 99.9% identical. It's like 95 to 99%. There's like a 4% margin of error that I'll give it. But we're nearly identical, right? So it's not like dogs and cats interbreeding. It's much more like
No,
two
I just
different
want
breeds of.
the thin blonde hair, bro.
Right.
Where you get that?
I'm addressing Christopher. So G-Will, right? So the gene that codes, right? The gene that causes white skin, that gene not only mutates very fast, but we know when the last time it mutated. It mutated about 11,000 years ago, between 11 and 18,000 years ago. That's how we know light skin didn't come from Neanderthal DNA, because it's something that originated and came about way 30,000 years after Neanderthals went extinct. That's how we know that.
Like I said, you're saying that the Neanderthal is a black man and that the Caucasian comes 30,000 years after him.
I'm saying that white skin doesn't come from Neanderthals is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, how
and
do
over time,
where
and over
does it
time,
come from then?
Mutations, selective pressure. So like if a population, let's say you get a population of people, they leave Africa, right? Some of those people are going to fare better in their new environment. People with lighter skin will fare better in environments that have less sun, right? That's going to affect your fitness. The healthier you are, the more likely you are to survive long enough to have kids. The more you can thrive in that environment, the more kids you have. So statistically speaking, over a long period of time, generation after generation, the environment will select based off of statistics what genes come up the most. And so eventually, in a population of people who fare better with fair skin, the people who have mutated, quote unquote, mutated skin, lighter skin, will be more prevalent than people with darker skin. We see this across, what you said, prevalent? Yeah, prevalence, because again, this is all about genetics. Genetics is nothing but statistics, right? It's a mixed bag. In Africa, we have a ton of genetic diversity. Outside of Africa, you have less genetic diversity.
How about albinos?
That has nothing to do with race.
Okay, all right.
Any race can end up with an albino.
Becky, you are a great guy.
Spurs maintain that level of success for that long. This is the story of the Spurs way.
Name one advantage of light skin. Your metabolism in an environment where you're not able to get enough vitamin C. So like if you can't, not vitamin C, a whole bunch of other vitamins though, from the sun, if you're not getting and you can't absorb the light in your environment, it's going to affect your metabolism. And if it affects your metabolism in the ice age, that's a pretty bad thing, right? If you're in a...
I mean, come on, man. Come on, bro. I mean, like the original man has like this thick woolly hair, and out of nowhere we have thin blonde hair.
It's not out of nowhere, though. It's not out of nowhere.
I know, but okay, look, if you're telling me that the first man comes from Africa, he has woolly hair, I can see what you're saying, or he migrates north. Okay, cool. His skin turns a little lighter, you know, but his hair doesn't turn thin and blonde, especially on the beard.
Hey, G-Will, so the oldest Homo sapien...
Hold on, bro. Hold on. That means that it's growing from a cellular level blonde. It's not coming out woolly and then turn blonde. It's naturally being blonde. No way that
you... So you're
where you come from, and you
Why
naturally
you
don't
are
know
so
where you
naive
come from.
to understand this?
Okay, so can I reply to your
I mean,
statements now?
naturally, you don't know where you come from, and you got to use
So
science to
can I
prove where you
reply?
come
Can I
from.
reply?
Look
Can I
at
reply to the
this.
statement?
Go back.
So
Go on,
here's
my
a couple.
brother.
So here's a couple things that like you got completely wrong. One, it didn't happen over a short period of time. The first Homo sapiens, right? The oldest Homo sapiens, like anatomically modern Homo sapiens, somewhere between 200,000 and 3.
Hey, let me ask you something. In science, do they have an erosion rate? Do you understand that? Do you understand that if you apply the erosion rate, do you understand that if you apply the erosion rate to what's going on in the world right now, that the United States wouldn't be a place and we wouldn't have no land mass? Do you understand that?
The erosion rate? The erosion rate of what?
Y'all be trying to tell me that the world and all this old stuff is like millions and hundreds and thousands of years old. That, dude, there is a mathematical equation. It's called the erosion rate. Go and look at it. This is
I know what the erosion rate is.
So if you apply that in science that you're trying to give me, 300,000 years, what would the United States look like according to the erosion rate in 300,000 years?
So when we're going to talk about geology and we're going to talk about things like erosion rate, right? Do you know
all of this has to be in play when you start talking about all this different stuff that you're talking about.
G Will, you asked him a question. Let him answer. Let him answer.
You're trying to tell me that the world, bro. If you're trying to tell me the world is that old, you have to apply every piece of science to it. Don't try to tell me that you don't have to.
Anyway, do you know what deep ocean crust is? Do you know what an abduction zone is in the ocean?
Oh my goodness, I know all about that. This has nothing to do with that.
Okay. All right, no, don't go on a long tangent.
I want to know where your kind comes from.
G Will.
I just want to know where the Caucasian
is the erosion rate on topic.
You asked me about erosion rate. If you're going to ask about erosion rate,
he keeps bringing up how old mankind is. If you're telling me that mankind is 300,000 years old, bro, that's a long time, bro. I don't think you understand how old.
You asked him a question several minutes ago, and you haven't let him speak since you asked him the question. You asked him a question, he started to talk, and you cut him off 3 words in.
Okay.
Before I ask about erosion rate, do you know what an abduction zone is?
I don't. Can you please explain it?
I'm asking G Will because he made the statement. G Will, do you know what an abduction zone is? Simple yes or no.
Sure, I do. I'm going to let you go ahead and explain. No,
what is an abduction zone?
No, I don't want to start talking again. I want you to just make your point,
very
bro.
quickly. I need to know that you understand this.
Just make your point. Just make your point. Just make your point, bro. Just go ahead, make your point.
You're trying to get a gotcha with science, and I want to know how much of the science you understand. So, what is an abduction zone?
I have no clue. Can you tell me?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so so that I can follow.
So we have things called subduction zones, and like you can call it an abduction zone, right? So you have deep ocean rifts. Let's look at the map up here that Host has, right? You're going to talk about erosion rate, which is like maybe millimeters per year per 10,000 years, right? But if we look at the middle of the ocean here, there are rifts in the middle of the ocean. So what we know is along Africa, along all the continents,
it's called a tectonic plate. Tell them what it is.
Yes, ocean
plate.
I'm getting there.
G Will, I'm going to need you to let him finish. He doesn't.
Ocean tectonic plates. Ocean plates are smashing into continental plates. The way that we know that is that we have these zones called subduction zones. The ocean floor sinks below the continent, cracks the plates, magma comes out. if we had Google Earth, we'd be able to see that most volcanoes are around continental and ocean plates. But in the middle of the ocean, that ocean plate is separating. And that's where we're getting magma. That's where the force that's driving ocean plates into continents, that's where new land comes from. There is more land being created from magma upwelling from the ocean's core or from the Earth's core than there is erosion on the surface of the Earth, my guy. Like, you're talking about erosion rate like it's something meaningful when it comes to land formation.
Basically,
but
okay,
more
hold on.
land.
You pause for a second. So basically what I'm asking you is that in 300,000 years, would the erosion rate have the United States looking the way that it's looking now? When I look at it on that map, the United States would not be this big in 300,000 years. No way you telling me that this landmass is going to look like that in 300,000 years. It's not.
Do you know how much a millimeter per year per 10,000 years is?
It won't. No, bro. Go look at the erosion rate.
That's what the erosion rate is. It would be like millimeters per year per 10,000 years. It would be incredibly small.
Dude, stop. It's not.
Yeah, it would. You wouldn't have in 300,000 years. You wouldn't dissolve a continent.
In 300,000 years, Florida won't be there.
In 300,000 years, you would not dissolve a continent.
New York won't be there.
Do you know why? It's not because it's eroding. It's because the ocean level is rising. It's not because it's eroding away.
It's not because the ocean level is rising. It's called the erosion rate.
You're saying the ocean level isn't rising faster than the erosion rate?
The waves, the ocean waves is going to cause it. That's what erosion is. It's the ocean waves that's going to get rid of land. And like you said, there's more land being formed. It's a natural process.
Are you done?
The United States and the rest of these
Are you
areas
saying the ocean
300,000
isn't rising?
No, I'm telling you that these areas cannot be over 300,000 years old.
Yeah, they can. They easily can.
No,
they easily can be.
Man. No. Man could not have been around that long.
Why not?
Because of the erosion rate. We wouldn't have what we have.
Who said
how do you have man being around that long, and we're just now getting to the point to where we have televisions? I mean, at this rate, the way technology is moving, bro. If man had been around and doing this stuff for this long, man, we would have, I mean, we'd probably be living in the Jetsons area. I mean, we wouldn't even know. I mean, the type of stuff we would be using, I ain't no telling what we would be eating. If man
except
was really
that's not except you know that's not how.
Telling me that the development of man, you're telling me that the development of man have been just that damn slow for us to be running around with spear chucking, jumping from tree to tree, Tarzan type shit for 300,000 or 400,000 years, and there's no development in the brain on how to survive and to make his life better. You know what I'm saying? In every way through technology.
So
come on, bro. You're insulting the intelligence of man right now by saying that. It don't take that long for man's brain to develop the idea of him having to develop fire and stuff like that.
Can we stick to one topic at a time, please? So
yeah, I want to get back to the topic that we started, that we were on, because we were on how we were. I wanted to stick to what he was saying about where the blonde hair and the straight hair comes from. That's an African thing. I don't know why we are attributing it to Europeans or other people. These are African characteristics that all originated in Africa. But let's get back to that. I think that was a really interesting conversation, and everybody on YouTube is highly interested in that topic. Again, go subscribe on YouTube right now if you want to watch the replay of this. Titans Debate League on YouTube.com. And back to you, gentlemen.
All praise to the Most High. And it's interesting. And so from the biblical
I
point,
saw myself.
we looked at it.
Blue eye, the children in Africa.
We looked at it from a scientist's point of view, from the point of view of
There are
science.
blue-eyed children in Africa as well. Wait, don't make a
Pasha, if you want to talk, I'll give you a turn to talk. but I don't want you just to make a habit of talking over other people's time. You can definitely jump in the rotation, and you can get a healthy minute or two when you do want to speak, so that way we can keep some order.
No,
Just make sure you say something, and we got
I
you.
have to go. I say one thing. I'm a Muslim.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Let's let Pasha get a word in, and then we'll go back to Jared.
I basically believe we are all Africans. You like it or not?
That I like how you put that.
That's cool.
Go ahead, Gerald.
That's cool, and I mean, and I agree with you. And I'm not here on a mission to create separate or to separate people from loving one another. I'm not here for that. I think that it's necessary for us to understand what has happened in history, for us to be able to understand, what we have actually in our history besides what science can tell us, because we have someone upon the face of the planet that's able to tell us. My name is G. Wood the Hebrew, and I have a different side of the story according to what the Bible says. The Bible clearly tells us that Miriam was turned into a white person, and she was made to be that way for 7 days. I'm not making it up. I'm just telling you what was written inside of the book. And if you believe the book, but you don't believe, what's being said, okay, take that up with the book. I'm just here to expound on what the book says. Now, and then the book further backs it up when I go to Leviticus. And this is the only publication in the world that tells you this, the Torah. This is how I know the word of God to be true, because I have Caucasians on the earth with blonde hair and blue eyes. So the minute that you tell me that the Torah is not true, you're telling me that the Caucasian is not true. All praise to the Most High.
So just one thing. I know you want to get back to the original subject host, but again, the reason why I'm harping on this is because people try to use science to co-op apologetics and trying to use science to debunk science. So let's talk about erosion rate real quick. The erosion rate is, like I pointed down here, right? The surface erosion rate of Earth is somewhere between 0.012 and 0.218 millimeters per year, right? That's like 12 meters every million years. Even by the thing that you cited, which is surface erosion rate, we would still have a Florida in 300,000 years. Do that math real quick, right? I only harp on this is because you tried to use that. You tried to use science to debunk science, and we're just not going to have that. That's wild. That's a wild thing to do.
Can I say something, man? I've been quiet for a minute. G Will, unless you got a quick response to that, I want to go after G Will if I can.
Yeah, I mean, okay, cool, bro. I mean, look, I can do this all day. You know what I'm saying? Just like science tells me that we are in rotation, and when I go outside, I look up in the sky. I don't see us moving around. I don't see us spinning, and I see me stand outside, and in 24 hours, the sun is going to be right back over me at 12 o'clock every day. It comes up in the east. It comes up in the east and it sets in the west. But the problem is that there are two planets that are supposed to be in between me and that sun, that's supposed to be in the same atmosphere with me, in between me and that sun. See, the book tells us that he created something he called the heavens, the skies. And inside of the firmament, he placed the sun. So the sun is in the same firmament with the earth. And now you're telling me, science is trying to tell me in between me and the sun that there is a planet called Venus, which is the same size as the sun, the same size as the earth. And then on the other side of Venus, that there's a planet called Mercury. And then you have the sun. But when I wake up in the morning, every day of my life, 56 years, I have never seen Venus. It ain't there. This is what science tried to tell me. That's why I don't believe in your science, bro. I can do this all day with your science.
Are you a flat earther? Also, you can see Mercury in the night. You can see Mercury in the night sky. You know that, right?
The Earth is round. I guess you believe in space too, right?
Yeah.
Told us that he separated.
I do believe in space.
I just don't like your analogy because it makes me think about the Dogon tribe, how they had knowledge of Sirius B, and we're just recently finding that that's actually a thing. But just because you can't see with your naked eye, Does it mean it's not there?
It's supposed to be between Earth, us, and the sun. When you look at the structure of this, we never come into an eclipse with Venus. It's the same size as the Earth. No way you telling me that there's a planet between me and the sun that's up there in the heavens, and I haven't seen it, and it's the same size as the Earth. You know how big the Earth is?
So you don't believe in
Even in
Venus or
rotation, you're supposed
planets?
to see Venus at some point in time.
Just for clarification, do you not believe in any other planets besides Earth, or do you not believe in Venus specifically?
I believe in the Earth and the moon and the sun and the stars. What the Most High put inside of what we call the Torah. That's it. Because that's all you're going to see.
You
All
don't
the
believe in
rest of it gonna
space,
be
though.
man-made.
You don't believe in
Gonna
space?
Dude, listen to me. The Venus is supposed to be the same size as the Earth. Let logic set in. Venus is the same size as the Earth. Venus is the same size as the Earth. It's between you and the sun. It's between you and the sun. It's the same size as the Earth. Come on, bro. Wake up.
I muted you backyard on accident. I was trying to mute myself. You can go ahead and come off mute and respond to him. And everybody, be on the lookout for G Will debating quantum only on my YouTube channel coming up soon. Go subscribe at Titans Debate League on YouTube and make sure you double tap the screen. Appreciate you. Back to you, gentlemen.
Are you saying that you don't believe in space? And also, what does Venus being the same size as Earth have to do with it? Because we're looking at a bright object that is 115 times larger, wider than something, right?
Exactly. So that means that if Venus
the sun is 115 times wider than Venus. So if Venus was in between, if Venus was in between the sun and Earth, and you were, this is your analogy because this is how you think it works. You're looking at Venus and there's a direct alignment with the sun. You wouldn't be able to see Venus because the sun is too large and it's too bright.
Okay,
but we do see Venus.
So when would I be able to have to see Venus? Let's say that Venus is not in front of the sun. When do I get a chance to see it if it's not in front of the sun? Because it's the same size as the Earth. And see, Venus is not the one closest to the sun. In between Venus and Mercury, you have another.
Venus is known as the evening star. Like you can see it in the evening.
The Most High told us that He made stars also. Venus is not a star. They tell you Venus is a planet.
Right. We know it's not a star, but it's called the evening star because you can see it.
Star. Stop trying to confuse us by calling it a star.
I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm saying we call it the evening star because for thousands of years we've been able to see it in the evening. You asked when you can see it. my God. You're really stuck on this. You're really stuck on this whole, it happened in an instant.
Did the Caucasian come from a black man? Yes or no?
I mean, probably didn't present as a black man. It wasn't like one day there was a black guy and the next day there was a white guy. It was mutations and change over a long period of time. What
kind of person? Mutations from a black man into a white man. How
you're
can you
thinking
have
of it as
you're thinking of it as,
and again, I tried to correct you.
You cannot have mutations on yourself. The mutations have to happen on a specific mutated. The person that got mutated was a black man mutated into something else.
No, again, you didn't listen to what I said before, and I'm going to explain it one more time, right? Over time, skin got lighter. The environment, it wasn't like one day there was a guy that looked like the blackest guy you've ever seen, and the next day it's lighter.
Skin got lighter.
Oh my God.
Skin got lighter means you're talking about a black man. That's what skin got lighter means.
Yes, but listen, G Will, you're not listening. We don't, in evolutionary biology, it's not that we're saying, one day there was a guy that looked like me, and the next day there was a guy that looked like Joe Biden, right? What we're saying is over time, a long period of time, hundreds of thousands of years, slowly did people get lighter. Slowly did these things happen. It wasn't within.
When you say people get lighter, are you saying that the black man got lighter?
Yes, but it wasn't. No, but it's not like that.
Listen, bro. Give us our props. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid to say that. We love you for that. Just say, look, the black man got lighter. Just say it that way. Stop trying to fool us in your words and your terminology. All praise to the Most High. G Will is in the building.
What he's saying is that yes, over time we got lighter, but he's saying that it happened over a vast period of time. It didn't happen in one specific moment. Like, I mean, I cite that parts of the Bible that talk about the removal of the melanin, but at the same time, he's saying that the whole race did not come to be in one specific moment.
That's cool. I just wanted to hear him say that the origin is a black man. That's where the white man comes from. Whether he believes in what the Bible says or not, it's the same origin. Bible says or not, it's the same ideology. That the white man comes from the black. That the white man comes from the black man. It's the same ideology. That's the only thing I want him to see. That you cannot have a white person without a black man. And so ultimately what we have is we have white folks who are really our people who have been stripped of their melanin. So they're still our brothers. It don't matter. This is my whole goal. This is my whole point so that we can stop all the argument. We can stop all the fighting so we can understand who he is. He was sent on a mission. He didn't have nothing to do with how he feels about you. If you want to blame somebody, blame the Most High God. The Most High God made him that way. And he told us don't hate our brothers. This is what this is about. We finally got to this point. So my whole message is a message of love from the beginning. For those who have disagreed with me and said, well, G Will, you this and that, did this, and this, you have misinterpreted me. The whole time I was sitting there talking. Because I came through on a message of love to tell you that it don't matter what color you are. It don't matter. The Most High made us both. I don't care if you're 43, 40, 45 million years old. We're on earth together today.
Can I
Hold on. Let me say this. I'm gonna land my plane. Hold on. Let me say I'm gonna land my plane. So it don't matter if you're black, white, green, or blue. I just want to know that if I live next to you, can I trust you? If you say that you're my brother, whether you're black, white, green, or blue, bro, are you gonna sleep with my wife when I'm not there? That's what I need to know. You know what I'm saying? Are you man enough to just say, hey man, look, you know what I'm saying? I like that you got a new car and not really be hating on me. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to know. I don't care what color you are. I yield.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm G Will, like I told you, because we got to set a debate now. Thank you for that last little old part, because it brought a little bit of coherence into what you were doing. I remember watching your videos when you was walking around. You had on this hat, and you wouldn't go in. You wouldn't stop. You said you had to figure this out, and you began walking, asking questions. I remember this. You was trying to figure something out. That was coherent to me. Now the ending that you trying to come to about the love thing, I agree with. But what I heard tonight was so much incoherence that we just have to get it straight, because we can get to where you trying to get without the incoherence. We can get to the love and the respect of each race without the incoherence of this supernatural thing. Because you asked me if I would sleep with your wife. If God got it planned, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all, don't laugh. Cause I just got to be.
That caught me off guard. That's all. My bad.
I just got to be real about what we talking about. Cause G Will, you know what I'm saying? I believe that he's coherent and intellectual enough to understand what I'm about to say from here on out.
Bro, did you laugh out loud? Because I did. But I was, I was on mute. I was on mute. I had to laugh.
It caught me off guard, bro.
Hey, man, shut the speech down, man. You're trying to come on top of something that was just very special. You're trying to come on something, man. You can't come on top of it.
No, because I got to get to go.
Come on, bro. You can't come on top of that, man. I mean, it's okay to be a G Will hater, but don't come on top of that, bro. You messing that up.
I'm sorry, G Will. It's just the incoherences are just so right there in my face with the points of view that you're trying to. That I have to go. So I'm gonna go back because, like I said, I'm gonna end it here because it was so much incoherence. Because first it was where white people came from, and then it became Neanderthal DNA, then erosion rate, then whether humans should already be living like the Jetsons, then whether Venus is real because you personally haven't seen it. That is not coherent line of reasoning to me. And when I look at all of this, I still look at it at a philosophical eye. And that's why I can see the incoherence in that supernatural line of reasoning. That's why people have these conversations and the topics jump every time the last claim starts and somebody start answering a question and they go, so let's start on the Venus point alone. The incoherence right there is obvious. When you first said it, even people that was agreeing with you was just like, what do he mean? My man's Titan asked you, do you agree? Are you saying that there isn't any planets, or are you just saying that there isn't Venus? Venus is not some hidden object nobody can see. It's one of the brightest objects in our sky after the sun and the moon that you was talking about. And because of its orbit, it is inside of Earth's orbit. It appears only near sunrise or sunset, which is exactly why people have called it the morning star or the evening star for ages, just like Backyard said. NASA and Britannica both describe it this way when you look it up. So saying I never saw it on YouTube or it's the size of the Earth, so I should just obviously see it whenever I want, because I take notes when I be doing that. Them ain't arguments. Them is incoherence. This is personal disbelief standing in for astronomy. You using your personal beliefs like that's your astronomy. Venus is far away. It stays near the sun in our sky, and that is why it's visible, and it visibly has its own pattern. That's not mysterious. That's just orbital geometry. You can say it's not there, and at the same time that you're saying that white folks is coming from leprosy, that's the incoherence I'm talking about. And it ain't you. It goes all the way back to what you're looking for when you're looking for the highest power within existence. And then adding on measuring and distance again, the answer is already there. Like people use geometry, parallax, trigonometric methods, and they estimate distances of Venus and the sun. We have NASA, they literally have educational classes and material that you can look up to see the transits of Venus. They show you how to calculate it. You big on calculations, like you said. They show you how to calculate it within the distances with the geometry that we have as a human race, because we are intelligent. So you can't take nothing from us. We're going to be accountable. Like you said, if we're going to take about trying to love each other, we have to be accountable for all the other stuff and stop saying that God or the devil is the reason that we're doing this thing. The same pattern started happening for the rest of the conversation. When genetics was brought up, you jumped to erosion. When erosion got answered, you jumped to the moon landing. And then when that started falling apart, you jumped to without God, you don't need signs. And this is exactly the incoherence I keep talking about. A coherent position stays on one question long enough to let the evidence matter. An incoherent one keeps changing the subject and then calling that depth. And I keep hearing you say, G will. You said, can't nobody answer it, but G will can. You ain't answering nothing because the incoherent questions that you answering don't even need to be answered. You can find better points to look for when we're talking about existence. So my closing point is this. If you want to debate it, is this. If you want to debate me and you want to challenge science, you want to challenge actual method, you want to challenge leprosy changing into a whole race, don't replace nothing that you talked about tonight. You come over there to the debate league on YouTube and we're going to set up any of that incoherence. And I know you well enough. You might not even know or remember talking to me or none of that. Like I said, I done told you, I done watched the stream. I done seen you sitting on your porch plenty times listening to you, G Will. That's how I know you changed your religion. And to change your religion that short and then think you're going to
check this out. Check this out.
I'm going to bust you down.
Check this out. Hey, check this out. My hashtag says #team undefeated, bro. There's absolutely not a man on the planet, not a pastor, not a rabbi, not a preacher, not a historian, nobody can touch the first 5 fam, cuz. I don't care who you are. Bring your cousins, bring all your knowledge, bring everything. But when you go inside there, I'm going to absolutely demolish you.
I'm going to close your head up in the middle.
It don't matter, cuz.
I still got a question for you.
#team undefeated, bro. I'm undefeated, bro. You can't do nothing with me nowhere.
You know I can. You are defeated. You changed your religion. You changed your religion because you was defeated.
I ain't changing no religion. I don't believe in religion.
Change your religion.
I don't have a religion. I've never had a religion.
Now you don't. Oh, see, the incoherence just stacks up. I'm going to bust you down. You're going to have a defeat.
What you talking about? I've never been beat. It ain't a man alive, bro.
This is the only logical explanation for existence. You talking about no priest, none of them. I'm not a priest.
We are the son of God.
This is the philosophy of religion. I'm going to show you how incoherent.
There's no way that you beat the son of God. It's impossible.
I'm going to show you how incoherent you is when you're trying to say that you're the son of God. You don't even know what the Most High is. You don't even know what the Most High is.
Son of God. Israel is the son of God
within existence.
Israel is
what was your religion 6 months ago, Will?
Wait. Israel is the son of God. Israel is the son of God. I'm part of Israel. We are the son of God. Israel has awakened, and He has given us knowledge beyond man's
Y'all come to this debate, man.
This is why I'm challenging. Man, it ain't just you. I'm challenging everybody in the whole world, not just you. You ain't the only one. I'm challenging everybody on this panel and anybody else. I don't care who it is.
Yeah, I'm enough for you.
You go find you a rabbi. I don't care if he's 30 years into being a rabbi. I don't care who it is. I'm taking on anybody.
I'm the teacher of a philosophy called quantum onlyism. You a theist. I'm gonna show you how that is done. I'm gonna bust you. You looking for a creator, and it's illogical to even look for something outside of time or nature. I'm gonna prove that it's incoherent from the jump before you even get to that other stuff that you talking about.
Okay, cool. I mean, we can talk all day, bro. We can talk all day, bro. We can talk all day. The crowd will know.
It's just thank you, though, G. But no, real life, though. Thank you for coming and giving me the debate. We're gonna find out what the topic is. I appreciate coming up on the panel, y'all. Y'all be coherent, y'all. Intelligibility is what we're looking for. If what you see,
Hebrew.
If what you see is what you see, and then something doesn't match what you see, I would go with what I see.
Man,
Belief and
okay,
recognition.
no, because you can't see Venus.
It's a time to step out of belief and start recognizing what we know, so we can get past those beliefs about who going to heaven, who going to hell, who gonna have their feet on somebody else's back, where the white people came from, and still try to love them. These are incoherencies that we don't have to deal with anymore. Let's get past this, and I'm gonna show y'all how easy it is to get past it. My first step, well, that ain't gonna be my first one. This is my step one. It's gonna be G Will's back. I'm gonna jump off of you and take flight like the owl always do, and give you the only logical explanation of existence. Only.
I want to say this: if you go by, you just say only go off of what you. If you say go by what you see, then I would say that G Will might have a point when if he says I never seen Venus, but Venus don't exist. You can't always go off of what you.
That's what I was trying to bring up about Venus.
Just because you don't see it does not mean it does not exist.
But we do see Venus.
I never said that.
Was kind
That's
of the
what
whole
G
point.
Will said.
No.
He said he don't. He don't.
Yeah,
but he
G Will
can.
said that. I didn't.
Right. So that's my point.
Ever seen Venus?
Yes.
Who, me?
Yeah. I've been.
No. This brothers that said we can. You seen Venus?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What process you took to see Venus?
Well, I mean, you can see it like you just said with the naked eye. It looks like the brightest star in the sky, right?
Red than a mother.
So how
but you can also use it. But what? Hang on, because this was my question for G Will, right? Venus, the existence of Venus, especially if people often claim that they can see it, right, will be a falsifiable claim. So my question is, why would you not utilize the processes to then test it for yourself? Because if you can then see Venus, doesn't that poke a hole in your framework?
Yeah, I mean, not only would it poke a hole in my framework, but basically everything that, you know what I'm saying, that I ended this of trying to find a telescope that's not one of those NASA authorized telescopes to try to find this. Dude, go and buy a telescope and tell me you can see Venus.
But G Will, let's say you get a telescope, right? And you look and you see a star. How you know it's that same star you looking at? If it's a billion stars in the sky, how you know you're looking at that exact?
Because
same
it's not a star. It's a planet.
Okay, exactly. So ask the scientist that. How does he know that's Venus?
That's the point.
Exactly, that's the point.
How you don't know it's million Venuses out there?
Exactly. How do you know?
No. Don't they have a?
You don't. That's my point.
Well, they do, because the way that the orbit is, it should be at a certain place.
Exactly. Time. Now you're getting it. And so when the first 5 fam start tracking the sun every day for 9 months now, I go outside between 11 and 12. And I find out the sun is in the same place every day, every time. It goes further west. If you keep going west, it comes up in the east. It's going around and coming up in the east, and it's going west. It keeps going west. It goes over California. It goes over Hawaii. It goes over Guam. It goes over China. It comes back over Africa and comes back up through New York. Every day. Been doing the same thing. The moon has been doing the same thing since we've been here. This is nothing new. This is how they used to tell time. We didn't need no calendar. This is the tradition of the Hebrews. To understand this, because this book that is written in tells us all of this. Very simple. It's not hard.
I have another question. Because you attack Islam, because I feel like there was an attack. I'm gonna keep it real. So
it was
you made that statement that Allah is not God, or whatever the case may be. And my question to, and then you
I never said Allah is not a God. He is a God.
I said you say he's not the most high God. Yes, he's not the God of Abraham. Now, I understand exactly what you said. I'm not stupid. So you know exactly what I meant. So we can keep on this, or we can play little games about trying to pick.
No, words. I want to know if you know. I want to know if you understand what I'm saying.
So
do you understand what I'm saying? No,
I know exactly what you're saying.
Okay, cool.
So let me finish. So you're reading a watered down version of your own book that you claim to follow, which is the Torah, because my bad. Can you read ancient Hebrew? Maybe I should ask that first.
No, I cannot.
Okay. Can you even read modern Hebrew?
I cannot.
Okay. So you are reading a watered down version by from, let's say, ancient Hebrew, which ended up being a dead language, which ended up translating through Greek, which ended up being translated through Latin, which ended up being translated through other languages that were Latin, which ended up being translated into English. So you're reading a watered down version of the book that you claim to follow. When the book that I follow comes from the same language and the same source, and it hasn't been watered down at all. From the time
Okay, that's cool. I mean, that's a great point. Are you an African American?
Yes, I am. Nope. Well, yeah. I'm an African American.
Okay. I'm asking you this: Do you live here? Do you live in the United States of America? Do you live in the United States of America?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Can you tell me how your people got here?
Yes, I can.
How?
Gentlemen, my phone is about to die and this charger is not working. So
My grandmother was
my
from
apologies.
Haiti.
I don't know what happened.
My grandma was from Haiti.
It's
My
going
grandfather
down.
was from the Philippines.
Thank you, bro, for allowing us to come up, bro.
My other two
Definitely, I'm about to go live on
were
YouTube.
from
So everybody
Africa.
just head on over to my YouTube. I'm about to end this and we're going to go live on YouTube.
I can go over here.
And I'm going to make sure, let me
back,
screenshot this so I can send
finished this.
everyone the link. Okay, yeah, I got your screenshot. It's my phone. My phone's about to die.